everyone, today is Tuesday, the 12th of February 2019. This is The Gap, episode 454? 55.
55.
I'm Luke Lawrie, Joab Gilroy is here, correcting me, as always.
As always, what else can I do except correct you? It's my only role in life. Some sort of universal Luke sub-editor.
Yep.
But at least you have one. I don't have one. Who sub-edits the sub-editor?
The manager.
Sub-editor?
I don't know.
What's below suburban? Rural, I guess? Because there's urban, and there's suburban, and then there's, rural?
Okay.
What about...
The Council of Joab.
Super urban? The Council of Jobs. Yeah, that'd be good. I'm a twin, right? So we could just pretend he's a member of the council. Like,
right.
It'd be the same as the Ricks. Hey, I had a theory. I was reading a fan theory where people were all like, they got Rick and Morty theories, and the Morty that controls that Rick. You've watched Rick and Morty, have you? No, you haven't, have you?
All the time.
Yeah, you still haven't watched it? Fucking hell. This is ridiculous. I've watched it like 6 times. I don't understand.
I'm still working through MASH on TV.
You're still rewatching Lost for the fucking 15th time or some shit.
Yeah, well, it's February. I gotta get my monthly Lost in.
Of course, that does make sense.
It's right here, actually.
Are you gonna pull the whole pyramid out?
Yeah.
Isn't it fucking huge?
It is huge.
It is huge.
Massive.
Look at that. That's a lot of fucking packaging for a terrible TV show. Anyway, I had this theory that everyone's like, oh yeah, the Morty that controls that Rick in that one episode, he is the Rick. So there's many Ricks in Rick and Morty, but the Rick is the one that we follow, right? And the Morty, the theory says, is not Rick's Morty, and the Rick's Morty is the one who controls all the other Ricks, and who later becomes the president on the Council of Ricks or whatever the fuck. And their theory is that he got chomped by a monster in the original in the credits.
Right.
Yeah. My theory is that Morty's Rick is the one who eats his own poo. That's my theory, not the Rick. Anyway, watched Infinity War the other day.
Right, you're gearing up for the Marvel season that kicks off next month, I think.
Yeah. We're just about there.
We've got a Marvel movie every month for the next year.
Pretty much, right? Like, fucking hell, there's a lot of them. And I heard that, I haven't seen any trailers or anything, but I heard that Endgame is going to be 3 hours long. Did you hear this?
I think the first one was originally pretty close, but they've trimmed it down. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, the first one was 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Yeah. And
it's easily an hour too long. Easily an hour too long. Everything that happens on Earth in that film, except for the parts where they get Tony Stark and Doctor Strange into space. The start, all of the rest of the Earth shit could just fuck off, in my opinion. It is the worst. I enjoy going back to Wakanda, but the stakes are non-existent. They are so fucking dumb, and it drives me so fucking mad. That entire section, fucking Thor is floating around in space, holding open a fucking lens to a sun, right? And meanwhile, back home on Earth, they're like, oh no, there's some fucking dog monsters that we'll have to punch, and the Hulk won't turn into the Hulk, and we could solve all of this, and none of this would be a problem if we literally just killed Vision. In a fucking bang, problem solved. But no, instead, it's literally an hour of that film could be solved in the blink of a fucking eye. Thanos wouldn't be able to do dick, right? and we could go back to the really interesting stuff of everything that happens in space. Everything that happens in space, right, in that film is awesome, and everything that happens on Earth is awful.
Yeah.
And drives me bananas.
Well, yeah, the Wakanda stuff is not great. The whole, like... And they seem to do it every movie, like every Avengers movie. They're just like, let's throw, like, 100,000, like, creatures at them.
Yeah.
like the first one was the originally I think it was supposed to be Skrulls, but they changed that because they didn't have the licensing.
Yeah.
And then like the other one was Ultron's robots, and then this one was just kind of like Thanos's. It's
because they don't scale properly, right? They're not able to scale correctly. Like they always start the movie with like in this one, right? They got the Maw, right? The fucking rad wizard dude who the herald for Thanos and shit. He's awesome.
Guy.
The SpongeBob guy, what?
Isn't he? Iron Man calls him Squid something.
Squidward, yeah.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, that's from. Yeah, that's a good point. So he's awesome though, right? He's awesome, and he seems really powerful. And then they kill him in the fucking blink of an eye. Right? Like, it's just like, oh, yeah,
he
cool.
might not be dead.
Don't worry about it.
They blew him out of an airlock.
And he died, it seemed. Anyway, so, like, that's their problem. They establish something super powerful, and then they solve that problem really quickly. And then... Yeah, like the stakes situation is all fucked up. So the only way that they can actually raise the stakes is by having overwhelming numbers of inconsequential things, because they can't afford to like really do anything with any of the other ones, like any of the other powerful beings who seem like they could be almost like supervillain level on their own. Like think of it like Batman versus Justice League, right? Justice League, right? Terrible example because Steppenwolf was a fucking awful main villain, right? Really bad, and like everything around the fight with him was just awful. But what you'd need to have, right, is like 6. You'd need to have like a Steppenwolf in the first one, right? Which they didn't really have. Loki didn't really pan out like that, and Ultron wasn't really like
it's not built up.
Yeah, like it's not an arc, right? It's got nothing to do with Thanos and shit. You need to have like the daughters of Thanos roll on down and just start fucking shit up, right? In the first one, and then in like Infinity War, have it so that like fucking all like 5 times that many come down, and they're like, holy shit, how the fuck are we ever gonna like? You don't need thousands. You don't need millions. You just need like 5 really big ones.
Yeah.
Right. And then
like the Sinister 6.
So maybe 6 really big ones. Yeah. You just need like a couple of really big ones, and then you're like, fuck, how the fuck are they? Like they just barely scrape through that, and then Thanos comes down, and he's like nothing they've ever fucking dreamt of. He's like fucking clomp, bang, boom, easy peasy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know how they do this. Meanwhile, instead, they've got like fucking, let's hold his hand open. Okay, cool. Why didn't you just open with that move then? Right? Like, and then you can have someone like Thor in like at his full fucking might with his Stormbringer shit come in. But like even he should have come in to that final battle on Wakanda and literally just obliterated everything. It should have established him as almost on the same level of power as Thanos at that point. That's how they would have, like, that's how they could have, like, created some sort of stakes, and then just had the massive, like, you could still have your thousands of pointless fucking enemies, but have those massive, like, big, bad supervillains, and then have Thanos. And you're like, Thor could actually do this. But have Thor have fucking Vision running off, Scarlet Witch doing her best to save her dildo, and then Captain America like fucking up constantly, and then like fucking your boy Thor's over there like killing like 4 of them, And there's that one goblin dude who's chasing after Vision, and then Cap comes in and kills that one guy. And you're like, yeah, Cap, woo! And then Thanos comes in, and you're like, oh, fuck. And you're like, oh, Thor's got to do something. But Thor's on, like, getting his fucking shit kicked out of him, and then Thanos is like, fucking, you're dead. Fuck you. Peace out, bitch. Turned into dust. You're a spring thing. And then, like, fucking snap. Gets the fucking stone out of Vision, and you're like, oh fuck, oh it's over, and then fucking Thor comes in and like does this chest thing and should aim for the head, and you can still have that same fucking ending, but like it's just like completely different stakes because you actually think there was some fucking chance for shit to actually go wrong, right? Like there's no way that they were ever going to lose to the dog things. Nobody ever thought that, but like I could see Thor getting crushed by 5 super beings. Like, yeah, I can see that. I don't know. And then he comes in, because he is as powerful as Thanos now, and does something. Anyway, I don't know. I just don't know if I can do 3 hours of fucking... Holy fuck. Like, what the fuck is going to happen in this?
Probably a lot. I feel like a lot of people like are going to be dead. Like, they're not coming back. I think there's people that died in that last one that are definitely not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, well, I think
that was the shock, right? Is that I didn't think they were going to do the snap in the last film at all. I didn't think it was coming until maybe the next one.
I think the only way... I think all the snap people are coming back, and they're going to devastatingly kill off a select few instead. That's how I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Or they could do the sacrificing people for... swapping them or whatever. Like, you have your moment where Tony Stark sacrifices himself to save Peter Parker, to bring him back or something like that, and you've got all these other... Because the way it sort of worked out was the people that disappeared were the ones you didn't really expect to disappear. So I think there's going to be some sort of, like, trade-off.
Yeah.
Or maybe even I read something about, like, people speculating that the people that disappeared actually weren't the ones that died. It was the other way around. The people that stayed are actually dead.
That was my guess as well. That was my, like...
And then you've got the 2 worlds that are split up. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway, I didn't hate it. It's just, like, all the Earth shit really... Yeah, it's a slog on the second viewing, I thought.
You mean the third act in Earth. The rest of it...
Yeah.
The start's really good.
And yeah, all the space shit's awesome, I thought. I guess except for Peter Quill being a fuckwit, but like, I guess that's just what he does. I don't know. Yeah, I've never really been about like Star-Lord as a character. I don't know. He was always less interesting than literally everyone else in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was just sort of our window into it, but somehow, I guess because of Chris Pratt's charisma, that apparently is waning on the internet. It's not doing so well today. But, yeah, like, via his charisma, it's, easy to see him just sort of take over scenes. But, yeah, I'd way rather watch Groot and Rocket Raccoon and Drax and Gamora, like Gamora. Yeah. That'd be a movie I'd watch. Replace Gamora with Gamora, the giant turtle that is friends to all children.
Yeah.
That'd be worth watching.
I think I was reading yesterday or the day before that Chris Pratt said that they're going to use James Gunn's script. And he's gone off and he's doing Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad 2, yeah.
Good pickup from DC.
Are we in agreement that James Gunn doing Suicide Squad 2 isn't going to save that movie? Because I
think it might. It depends on like what they do. Like, are they going to reboot it again? Is it going to be like a prequel? Is it going to be brand new characters? Like, where do they go with it?
Feel like, yeah, they will commit suicide. It's in the name.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a rumor that Robert Pattinson might be the next Batman. I'd watch the fuck out of that. He's awesome. Except for that one series of movies that he's been in. He's largely been a fantastic actor. So
yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the rumor this morning I saw. Anyway, video games, right?
That's a weird pick. Um, yeah, video games. What do you want to talk about? We got a lot here.
Let's start with Weedcraft.
Okay.
Weedcraft is, I don't know who the fuck made it. Fuck, we're so on top of shit. I saw a video of this Vile Monarch, and it's published by Devolver. I saw a video of this on IGN that was extremely amusing, where the two dudes, I can't remember who it was. I remember their faces, but I can't remember their fucking names. Brian Altano and Zach Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were. I don't know. I think they were baked, but they've been fucking morons, and it was pretty funny. And they were trying to play Weedcraft, and it tells you literally nothing about the game. But Weedcraft is a game where you are
Cutting lawns.
and weeding, obviously. No, where you're growing and selling weed, marijuana, and it's surprisingly more complex. Like when I first heard of it, I sort of just imagined Drug Wars. You remember that game back in the day, which was literally just a sort of a trading and selling, buy low, sell high type game. Not that complicated. It was just about the accumulation of cash. It was playing that a lot that led to me getting interested in playing the auction house in World of Warcraft originally. Because I don't know, there was something very zen about Drug Wars to me. Like I could play it for literally hours and it would be like zero impact to me. Like it'd just be really, you'd see micro, like tiny fucking incremental improvements in your gains, but it'd still be a fantastic way to kill some time and sort of vibe out from the day and stuff like that. It's really like I could have been selling fucking anything. It just happened to be named after drugs that you were selling. So you'd start off with I think it was like $200 or something, and you'd have to buy a bunch of weed and then sell it somewhere for a bunch more. And as it grew, you'd go to different towns and buy bigger quantities of stuff or buy different drugs and stuff like that. And yeah, the auction house. Once I found the auction house, and I just sort of found the same sort of zen thing. Weedcraft isn't really like that. It's not about the buying and selling of drugs. It is about the, I guess, growing and distribution of marijuana, and it actually, there's a lot of complexity just in that one thing. So it sort of digs quite deep into just that one avenue of the drug game. It's an interesting one because I guess it's something you could learn a lot from, regardless of your personal stance on the war on drugs. Personally, I think the war on drugs is idiotic. I'm not huge into drugs myself, but I don't think it's particularly helpful. It seems like it's specifically designed to oppress people. This sort of goes into that a little bit. It sort of touches on those concepts from the way that it plays out. You've got, there are cops. You start, well, it's the preview build. I don't know if it seems like there are other builds, and you can actually start in states where it's legal and stuff like that. And you can also in this lobby to legalize it and stuff like that. You have the ability to attempt to, make change. But if you do, that changes your game as well. Because if weed is legal, then, there's a change on the economy. And it's reflected in this game. So it's actually super clever for a game that is ostensibly about getting bait. And it's got heaps of these goofy fucking Cheech and Chong style little silly fucking pot references throughout it. But Yeah, it's super fucking clever, which is yeah, it was unexpected. I didn't see it coming, honestly. Like I just thought it was gonna be a bit goofy, bit of a what do you call it? Idle game.
Yeah.
An idle game with like where you wind up having like a fucking Pineapple Express style massive wheat farm in some hangar somewhere, and it'd just be churning out a bunch of fucking drugs over and over and over again. And you'd just sort of check in every now and then and see how many cookies you'd clicked, or your grandma's had baked, and your demon grandma's had baked, or whatever the fuck. And yeah, it'd go from there. Like that's legitimately what I was expecting, but it's not. It's very much
at least the start.
Well, like even once you've automated a lot of stuff, there's still a lot like of other stuff you have to do. Like it's still pretty involved, right? Like it takes a while to get to the point where you can automate stuff. It's not like it took me a couple of hours, I think, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to the point where I could start to properly automate stuff. I think some of that was down to the UI. Man, it's got a fucking dog of a UI sometimes. I don't know if you encountered this, but I found it really hard to work out how the fuck to get back to the view outside of my apartment. Because you grow all your drugs, all your marijuana inside this apartment. And it took me so long to work out. It's actually really easy once you know how to do it. It needs to be way more, way clearer.
It needs to be a button or something.
Yeah, 100%. Just a button to go back to the town instead of like it's an option on a button to take you to a certain place. And yeah.
Well, no, it's up in the top right.
What?
There's an X on the top right. You can click that. Does that take you out, or is that an escape button? Shit, I can't remember.
I think that's the escape button. Isn't it the one on the card for your apartment? And you click the X on that, and you can choose to leave the apartment?
So when you're in your apartment...
Oh, man, if anything has ever fucking exemplified what the fuck we're talking about...
Yeah, we're using different ways to get there. So on the top left, there's a cog symbol.
Yeah.
I assume that is... settings. I know it's settings.
Yeah.
But on the top right, there's an X. Same sort of thing with like a paper turned over. That's either leave the apartment or quit the game. And I don't think I've clicked it yet. The way I'm doing it is going to the bottom left of the screen, clicking on the little map icon, and then clicking again the one that I want. So it's 2 clicks to leave the apartment. Is that what you're doing?
There's a card near the little map icon where you can click on that and... double click, or you click on the X on it, and then you can leave the apartment via that.
So you're still clicking on the bottom left. Yeah, that's where I'm clicking. I'm not really sure which one I'm supposed to click. It brings up a little like postage stamp with the areas, and one of them is like the 2 towns.
Yeah.
You click one of them's obviously they're not. Yeah, and so I just click on one of them, but there is an X in the top right. Maybe I should test that. Because I think even just going back to that main screen is a tad too long. Like, I think it needs to be quicker. It does like a screen wipe effect.
I put that down to preview build.
Yeah, sure.
Nonsense, but it could definitely serve like to be a bit quicker.
Because when I'm on like my groove, when I'm like, yes, I want to get out there and do stuff. Like, I got notifications coming in. And I click it, and it takes a couple of seconds to take me back to that main screen. I'm like, oh man, all right.
It's especially annoying when you've got a rhythm going, because there's like, so the process of growing a marijuana plant in this starts with putting a like heat lamp in, right? You start from there, and then you got to like plant the seeds, choose the soil, and then germinate the seed. I think it is, and then after that, you've got to like water the plants. You can, what do you do? Like trim it, or
trim, I guess.
I think that's what you do. Yeah, and you hold that for
growth.
Yeah, so you hold it for 3 seconds and it grows a bit faster. And then so you get sort of like once you've got like 9 plants going, you can get into like a really good cycle because there's like a trick when you water a plant. When you trim it, when you get a perfect trim, it allows you to water it again immediately. So you sort of what you do is you water and then you trim and then you water and then you do the next plant down. And by the time you've gone through all 9 plants, you come back to the top and that one's ready again. And you sort of get a really good cycle going. And you've got like you're churning out this weed and then you want to be able to click out real quick. Like sometimes, if you fuck up one of your trims, then you've broken the rhythm a bit, and you can then flit out and sell some stuff, sell some of it to some buyers out in the world at the convenience store down like Jay and Silent Bob, and then you go back and everything's ready, like your system's ready to start up again, and you can get it done. But yeah, it can like really break the flow when you're like, how the fuck do I get out there? Like most of the time I was just using notifications, which I think was a crutch that stopped me from learning the correct way to do it. Per our very recent conversation, I'm not certain I have been doing it the correct way, to be honest. I was pretty careful to read the fucking tutorials this time as well. Like I'm pretty bad for reading tutorials, I'm fucking fucking hammer time on that button. But
you were doing it in the Division the other day.
I was. It was. Yeah, that's true. You guys were rushing me, but yeah, like I can be pretty bad for it. But I was pretty careful with this, and yeah, I still don't know if I'm doing it the correct way. Anyway, yeah, once you you do all that shit, and then it took me fucking forever, man. Like there are some real basic quality of life shit in this game that could be a lot better. That could save you a lot of time, like the fan thing.
Yes, that took me longer than I thought it would have.
Yeah. You at some point after you've made enough money and grown off weed, you can get a fan for your room, and you can use that to control the temperature in the room, and that allows you to grow better weed, basically.
Yeah, like the quality of it is important. There's like a little bar, so when you're watering the plant, every time that you water it, the bar sort of creeps up a little bit, and so like you're talking about getting that rhythm in a watering cut water, like makes it the quality a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's like significantly important. It's like, well, it's actually a goal in the game to get a bunch of like decent quality weed, which was a mad pain in the dick because I had to work that shit out myself. I didn't have a problem with it. It was just I was racking my brain on how to fucking do it. I still haven't worked out the right. I'm still not sure I've got the right pH settings for that weed. It was like, what was it, like 7.1?
I think it was 7.1 and 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I think I went with like 7.1 and 3 and 4 were my successful batches. That were
because I don't think it tells you when you get it right.
Yeah, I couldn't see a measurable difference between 2, 3, and 4. No, I couldn't see a measurable difference between 3 and 4, and I think I didn't note that I fucked up the water on 2 a couple of times, and it must have like cocked me about a little. But yeah, like I had like 9 plants of that specific strain going at one point, just so I could chart the fucking difference. And
that's what I was doing.
But if you fuck up one of the waters and then don't think to fuck up the water on the others, then you're going to fuck up your own fucking scientific process. So,
but it could be also we're not at that point because I think it was like out of 15 points, the quality rating, and at that stage of the game, I think there's stuff we haven't unlocked yet that brings it up. Things
soil. Like, I've only just unlocked like the middle soil.
Yeah. So better soil, like
temperature quality, like temperature control, humidity.
There's temperature control, and then there's one under that I haven't. I haven't touched yet. I can't remember what that is, but yeah, like monitoring what is it, like nitrogen, potassium, and something else.
I don't know, whatever.
Something else.
Yeah, like I said, it's super involved, and like there's actually something very rewarding in like working it out, right? Like you do feel like you've done shit somewhat correct,
Hmm.
even though I freely admit that I fucked up my own scientific process to work out the best fucking weed, and we both landed on different fucking results. We got like we clearly cleared, like we managed to get past the objective, right? Like
Yeah.
could do better, absolutely, but yeah, that's the thing, right? There's a lot of depth here. It's just I think some of it is false. Some of it's false depth that is there because of the obscurity of the UI, and
Hmm.
some of it's real depth. And I think that is it's actually generally more interesting than the confusing, annoying shit. Like how the fuck do I go back to the main map? But yeah, like eventually, yeah, you've got employees, you're lobbying the government, like you build like it just warps how you play, and it's really interesting. Like you get into this cycle, and then the game changes, and then it's something completely different. It is a really interesting approach to a tycoon game because, like generally for me, a tycoon game is mastering that one broad thing. I guess like you like hearing you talk about 2 Point Hospital sort of makes me think that it's did something similar. Like it sort of threw curveballs at you, right? Like it's not different in the same way. Like this seems to warp quite a lot from its initial play through to
It's super basic, and then it just starts adding more
yeah. 2 Point
elements
Hospital is
into
sort
it.
of like yeah, like just throwing wild curveballs. You were saying stuff like quarantines and stuff, right? Like
Well, yeah, like it starts doing things of you've got to worry about temperature control in there because it's cold now in this part of the map, or like it throws different types of diseases at you, and like
yeah,
it's sort of just it starts off really basic. You're only having to manage like a couple of things, and then
yeah,
it just ramps up, and then you have to buying more lands, and they start throwing earthquakes at you towards the end,
yeah,
and having to manage just all these different things. So yeah, so similar to like starting off really basic, you're doing one thing, and then it's like, all right, now you got to worry about the police, and
yeah.
you got to worry about other sellers in the area, like trying to hustle you out and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that was actually an interesting little curveball that threw as well. I didn't notice it have an appreciable effect on my earnings, except for the fact that my really shitty weed didn't sell for as much anymore. I couldn't sell it for, I think I was like selling it for $11, and nobody wanted to buy it unless it was like 8 when that dude came in, which was a bummer. Um, and I dropped it to 5 to force him out.
Right.
But yeah, like it's I like it. Like I like it because it is such a. It could have been just yeah, like fucking Super Troopers, Cheech and Chong, goofy weed bullshit, and instead it's sort of taking a pretty legit tycoon run at it, which is cool. I think.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I like. Yeah, it seems like our preview build that won't let us play a couple of the scenarios, or maybe we have to finish the scenario we got first.
Hmm.
Um, I'd love to check it out in like a weed legal scenario. I'd love to see
Setting up.
see how that goes from the get go and stuff. You know, that'd be pretty interesting. I reckon.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't think I've played as much as you. I got to the point where I'm sort of trying to lower my police presence because yeah, it's max. It's getting pretty high at the moment. So I think I've basically turned my first dealing area into like a shop front for something else. I think it's a hot dog stand or something like that. I can't remember. Um, and now I think I've got to do the same thing for my apartment. Like I've got to lower the because this cop keeps coming around all the time and
yeah.
who put the fucking graffiti on the wall? And I'm like, it wasn't me. And he's like, fuck off, I know it was you, you dickhead. All right, fair enough. Yeah, and every time you kind of end up finishing these plants, it drives your police. There's like a threat meter up, and you've got to really lower it down by putting up like turning into a tea shop or like.
Does the threat like hammer up if you leave the grown plant there for too long?
I don't know. I think it's because whenever I
thought
take
that's what was happening.
Whenever I take it, it goes up higher.
Yeah.
So whenever you harvest it or grab it, I don't know.
I thought it was like the funk off the plant was driving it up. That's what I thought was happening, because I noticed a couple of times I like came back and everything had been grown for a while.
Oh, maybe.
And my shit had jacked all the way up. I don't know. There's that I don't like working that stuff out. I don't mind. I think that's a really interesting part of the game, like working out those tiny systems so that you can properly master the growing aspect. I think that's a really interesting part. It's just the goofy UI shit that I'm not a fan of. But it's like, and I think that's the thing. It's pretty fixable.
Yeah, it's preview build, like.
Yeah, like
the
UI stuff is really
there.
fucking easy to fix. And like the system stuff, the stuff that the game's built off, is good. So yeah, I'm about it. Do we know when the fuck it comes out?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. Fuck, we're good at this. Sometime this year.
Was that the email? What the email said?
I don't know. Steam says available 2019.
Yeah. Okay.
Gold. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what's next? Shall we do Slay the Spire?
Yep. This is your game.
It is my game. I love this game so much, and I'm so bad at it. I'm so depressingly bad at it. I'm still playing it more and more. I don't really know how to get better. Like, I don't know how to be better at this game. I don't think there is a way for me to be better. Maybe I'm just shit at these sorts of games. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay, then.
Just messing with you.
Good times. I don't think there is a way for me to be better, because it's not like... it's not like there's something I can train. There's not some aspect of my game that I can improve upon. It's not like I could be better at aiming, or I could get over the part where, like in every BR game, every time we have a battle royale session, I'll potato the first couple of games. I'll potato anytime we get into a gunfight, because I'll be too panicked. I'll be like, oh god, fuck! And then, like, after the second game, I'll be like, fucking John Wick shit. But until then, I'll be like, whiff, oh god, potato aim, fuck, I've lost this another game. Yeah, like that's not what's happening in Slay the Spire. I spoke about it before. Obviously, it's a card game with a dungeon run mixed in together, and it is, it's a deck builder. So it's about like creating the best combination of cards. Most recently, I've started like getting rid of cards, because you start off with a bunch of stuff, and it occurred to me that taking literally every card that I picked up might not be the best plan, might not be the winning strategy. So I've like started culling, not picking up everything unless I'm certain I'm actually going to use it. It used to be like, previously I was like, what's the best of these three cards, right? But you can choose to take none, right? You don't have to take one. You can choose to take none of them, and then you can alter. Like it can make a huge impact on your decisions and stuff, and how you play. And if you've got like less cards, there's more chance of the cards you need showing up, right? If you've got 5 cards show up in your hand at any one time, and you've only got 20 cards in your fucking deck, then by the fourth hand, you should see the card that you want, right? So it's only 4 turns that you can get absolutely fucked on, and yeah, you can get some fucking distance out of that. Like, there's it's a halfway decent strategy, and like a lot of the cards that you're trying to get rid of, it makes sense to try and get rid of them. Like, yeah, I'm playing a lot of the there's 3 different classes. There's like the warrior, the ranger, and the robot mage, and I've been playing the robot mage guy a lot, and I just think there's like, so he's such a good example of fantastic RNG, because like he's got these 3 orbs that sort of sit above his head, and you can build it out. You can have fucking tons of orbs, right? And at the end of every turn, those orbs will, sorry, depending on which like affinity that orb is imbued with, it can be like lightning, frost, chaos, or energy. I want to say
fire.
Not fire.
Faraga.
Not Faraga. Depending on which one of those you imbue it with, it will do something at the end of every turn. If you've got frost in an orb, it'll give you like 3 block, I think. If you've got chaos, it will like boost up the power of the orb. If you've got energy, it'll give you like more energy to play with in the next turn, so you can make more moves and shit.
Yeah, it's similar to fucking the way that like Invoker in Dota works, or there was that Magicka where you were like spinning up the orbs, and depending on what combination you had, sort of sold certain magic properties.
And the build I've been, the build I've been playing with is like lightning. So I try to fill all those orbs up with lightning, and at the end of every turn, it'll do 3 damage to a random enemy. And you can sort of build that up quite a bit, so that it's like it can be doing 5 damage each turn. And then the other thing you can do is when you push out, like when you add another lightning orb, it'll push one out and activate it, and it'll do 10 damage, right, instead of 5. And you can get it into a situation where you are just churning through these lightning things, and it's doing it to random enemies, right? You don't get to pick which enemy, but it's doing it in such a way where you are suddenly doing like copious amounts of damage, and you're able to really like fuck shit up without technically attacking at all. And so at that point, the only thing you want to do is either be able to generate more lightning bolts, or generate fucking shields for yourself so that you can live long enough to actually make enough lightning balls. And like, it's a really interesting playstyle. I don't know if it's a winning strategy necessarily, but I enjoy playing it. Like, there are some flaws, I feel. You do wind up in situations where if there's like lots of enemies, like if there's just a stack of enemies, there's like this big slime blob, and after you do half its health and damage, it'll split, and you've got to take on 2 enemies that both have that's like that same, so you get it down to 150 health. It'll split into 2 enemies that have 150 health, so you still have to do 300 fucking health worth of damage, and now it's just across 2 things, and so that's tricky. It's like you need to do enough damage to make sure that when it does split, you aren't taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, like you're not back at square one. Right. So yeah, it can be tricky because you don't exactly get to choose where that damage goes, but that's good RNG because you can manage it, right? And if you don't manage for it to go wrong, if you just play it like it's always gonna, like the dice are always gonna roll in your favor, and then you get fucked, then that's sort of on you. Yep. Like that's good RNG in my opinion, because you can full blown manage for that, right? It's a situation where you don't feel punished for rolling bad, for getting a bad roll. You just, if the dice fall your way, you're like, cool, excellent. And if they don't, you're like, fair enough, I'll get it next time, right? Like, that's good. Bad is when you're like, bad is XCOM's 95% to hit and then you miss.
Yeah.
That's bad RNG. That's like, fuck. I can't believe this has happened to me.
3 times in a row.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think they changed that, didn't they?
I think they did in 2, yeah.
Yeah, they fixed it.
But yeah, like, it's got, yeah, so it's just got lots of that. Like, I know people are really good at this game, and I haven't uncovered the trick yet. There must be a trick, right? That I just don't know. I don't think, like, I haven't worked it out yet. But I don't mind, right? Like, I don't mind being bad because I do feel like I'm learning more about it each time I play it, right? Like, I'm coming into this shit on my own, right? Like, yeah. I think my only problem is that I don't really notice anyone talking about it, right? Like, it doesn't seem like a game that people play much or talk about. I know it's huge. It's fucking huge. But people don't really talk. I think the fact that you want to come to this shit on your own means people don't necessarily want to talk about it. But I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it all the time. But, yeah, people just don't seem to, have much to say. I guess it's not like a story game. It's not a game where you're like, oh, and then blah, blah, blah happened and I did this. Right? It's not... I think that's common in a lot of roguelikes, and this doesn't seem to really do that. Because it seems like it's quite a personal experience. Yeah. Anyway, it's still awesome. I 100% recommend it. It is absolutely my killing time game. When Apex Legends was down the other day, I was playing it while I had Apex up in full screen.
Are they quick games? Are they?
No, but you can sort of quit halfway through. There's or you can just leave it open at the 50% point of a match and then come back to it.
Come back, right? Oh, that's good.
It's not very resource intensive or anything, so yeah, it's good. But anyway, that's that.
Yeah.
Yep. 80 days. Shall we talk about 80 days?
May as well. I've not heard of this game before, I don't think.
It's fucking amazing. It is such a good game. I'd heard about it a couple of times. I believe David Wildgoose, who was on that podcast I went on, 7 out of 10 cast.
Sure.
But he's also been in the industry way longer than I have. Everything from editor of PC Power Play to PR of Microsoft and shit. Oh yeah, editor of Kotaku. Yeah, fucking heaps of shit. He raved about it. Raved. And I found it on mobile. Didn't seem like the sort of game I'd want to play on PC, but I found it on mobile. And it's fucking spectacular. It's basically a choose your own adventure. It's got a bit of roguelike sort of stuff about it. It's based on, the book Around the World in 80 Days.
Yeah.
It's
Schwarzenegger.
And Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Yep. The classic, of course. It's sort of based on that, and it sort of revolves around you charting a course around the world, and you have 80 days to make it happen. And it's reading heavy, and you make these choices, you can't really go back on them, and it is utterly fascinating. There's it's not the real world. It's not based in the real world. It's based in this fantastical steampunk sort of world where there are rocket-style flying machines and all this kind of stuff, and odd technologies that allow you to see into the past and all this kind of shit. And you are, you've got your clock there. You know how many days are left. You know how far around the world you are, and that's basically it. The challenge is to get around the world in 80 days. You aren't playing as Phineas Fogg. Is it Phineas? I don't know. Phineas Fogg. You're not playing as the main character of the book. You're playing as his valet or valet, and you are sort of organizing all this kind of stuff. Like at each town, you've got like 4 options. You can go to the market to buy and sell stuff. You can go to the bank to take out like money. You can explore the city that you're in, or you can plan your next bit of travel. And there's sort of a bit of a buying and selling game in there where you'll buy something in one place and try to make sure wherever you go to charts through another place where that will be valuable. I think I sold like a painting that I bought in France, in Berlin, for like $7,000, and that was a very valuable detour. And it's all like ancient times, so like a couple of grand is worth exponentially more than that in now time. So yeah, like you're just sort of managing your funds, managing your time, and at the same time like being taken through this story about travel in this like steampunk otherworldly 19th century world. And yeah, it's really good. On the phone it works so good, because basically the moment you like switch away from it, it saves your progress on the spot, like a save state type thing. So when you come back, you'll be exactly where you were, which means it's at the same time unbelievably playable. Like when you sitting on the toilet doing your morning poops, and suddenly it's 40 minutes because you've been traveling around the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, if like the door buzzer goes and there's a delivery man downstairs and he doesn't really have enough time to wait for you to finish playing the game, you can just immediately close it, wipe your butt, obviously, wash your hands, and then go get the door. Yeah.
This sounds like something that happened.
No. Hypothetically. And when you open the phone again, it's right there. Like, it's perfect. It's flawless, which is fantastic. It's really good writing, really interesting world building, and like built into this weird race against the clock, where you sort of learn about the world. I don't know if you can fail, because I haven't finished one race yet. I'm at day 45 of my first attempt. So
you play it multiple times?
I think, I believe it's supposed to be extremely replayable, because, and I can see how it would be, because like my first time I traveled from London to Paris, but I could have traveled from London to like Spain or North or like the Netherlands or something like that. Like my choices, I had quite a few choices. I didn't have to go to Paris. I just went to Paris because I wasn't sure how anything worked necessarily, and it seemed like an appropriate starting point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can make a whole bunch of different choices, and every time you make a decision, it affects your relationship with like Monsieur Fogg, or how the world sees you, all this kind of stuff. You've got like a health gauge that you need to manage. I believe it's Fogg's health, not yours. But it's like your wariness from traveling on the road. You don't want to let that get too low. There's like stuff that you can buy that will randomly give you a boon. I was able to like get us an airship to like travel earlier than I was going to leave on a Wednesday, which was 2 days out, but I got it to leave the next day, because I had like all this air travel shit, and they figured I must be an expert of air travel, so we'll go tomorrow. Like all this kind of stuff that can influence how you play, like how you go. And Yeah, it's good. Like it's interactive fiction at the end of the day, but it's really interesting because you make meaningful decisions that seem to have massive impacts on how you play. I got hooked on opium, which was not a good plan. Like, don't do opium, kids. And yeah, like it's good.
Selling that weed.
Should have gone back to selling weed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it. I introduced my wife to it yesterday, and I've been playing it all week, and I'm at day 43. I introduced it to her, and she is at day 39 already. Like, she fell all the way down the rabbit hole. Last night while I was playing Apex before bed, I like finished up, turned off my computer, and the whole house was dark. And I walked out, and she was sitting on the bed in the dark with just the phone playing this fucking game. Like, she just got completely lost in it. It was pretty good. Yeah. So get it. I think it's like $6 as well.
Cool.
But yeah, super fucking playable, and like really good on the phone too. The only thing that I think is lacking on the phone in the phone situation is that the suitcase, like you've got to manage your inventory in your suitcases. It can be a little bit fiddly on the phone because I think it's a little bit of a small area for you to interact with.
Right.
And yeah, it's not that bad, but it's a bit small. Yeah. Anyway, good game.
Fair enough.
Check it out.
All right, let's talk about the Division 2. Private beta started over the weekend. I think this was for people that either have pre-ordered the game or had signed up on their website to become a tester. And then anybody that got a code was given 3 codes. Is that right?
Yeah, it's something like that. Like, well, they weren't given codes. They were given the ability to directly invite friends, right?
Right. Okay.
That seems to be like you could just go to the Division 2 beta site and it would tell you that you can invite a friend or something.
Okay. So yeah, it was not open. It was a bit closed. You needed to either know somebody or have pre-ordered the game.
Yeah.
It seemed like more of a like a technical test as opposed to them like trying to drive up sales, because if they were, they'd be probably making it open or something like that. No idea if they're going to do a second one and have that completely open. I don't know if they need to. Like, Division was sold a lot in the first place. It was like the biggest IP they've ever done. So I think it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess
I don't think it would hurt.
Yeah.
I think a proper stress test would probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you don't want.
Yeah, because remember what happened in the first one, right? Everyone got stuck at that computer.
No.
To try and get. Oh, you weren't there, so you know, I don't know if we talked about it. We probably.
I think you did, yeah.
But when like they launched that game, they had this computer you had to go to get your your job or something like that. Like, it was the first thing you went and did, but they'd only made it so that one person could interact with at a time.
Oh, the line, yeah.
And so there was literally fucking lines. Like, people were lining up in a video game.
Yeah.
It wasn't hectic like when NBA 2K introduces that casino and there's a chocolate wheel and there's like 40 fucking people around this chocolate wheel just trying to mash it to spin this wheel. It wasn't like that. It was a little like people lighted up. Like, they were organized, like orderly, and people were cutting in because you could yell at them through mics. But we didn't really see much of that in our group because we were on there at the crack like when it first started. But yeah, I mean, just finding little small bits and pieces like that can be helpful. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. They might do something closer to release, a week or two before release, and just open it up.
It seems to me like they were releasing pretty unhindered last time as well, but they're releasing against some pretty hefty competition this time. So like, it might be worth drumming up some hype amongst the general populace. I
think last time was March as well, right?
Yeah, but yeah, there was no like anthem to clash with.
It's like direct competition. It's the same style of game.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it might be in their best interest to get as many people on board as humanly possible, because I don't know.
So we played a bit of it. I got to check out some stuff that I didn't get to play in the like 5-hour preview session that I went and checked out. I talked about last week for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically the exact same demo. You start off at you go to the White House, and then you get a bunch of your gear, and you go out and you would have seen that part if you didn't skip the tutorial, but you get to spend your skill points and assign them, things like that. And then you go off and start doing missions. There were 2 main missions in the build. We did one of them at the theater.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I played on at the preview build, and I put there's a bunch of footage up on on our video podcast of that one on the Xbox. The combat's definitely way easier on PC, like mouse and keyboard. I think the same sort of thing I kind of experienced with Anthem. Probably play the game on hard, like the mission types. On console, for me, like I'm not a big, like I tend to play most of my stuff on PC, but on console, I think normal will be definitely challenging for people.
Yeah.
But on PC, it's the same thing that I have with Anthem. It's just too easy. So we'll probably play it on hard or whatever the higher difficulty is, because we were just stomping through like a lot of those guys. It was to the point where we weren't even really stopping and doing tactical stuff. It was just running.
It was a race. Yeah.
It was a race. Although I didn't get a chance to jump back in and check out any of the invaded missions during the weekend. And that's the higher level dudes that have miniguns and the Johnny Five robots, things like that. But the main mission stuff was super easy. So I think playing that on hard would be where we end up sort of sitting with that game, same as the first one.
Yeah. I didn't do any of the tutorial shit. As soon as I got to the White House, I joined a party with you guys and got warped through all that shit, like warped ahead of all that shit.
Fast travel.
So yeah, like I didn't see any of that stuff. So I didn't have a fantastic idea of what the fuck I was doing at the start, but it didn't really matter. You sort of get all that stuff. Like it mostly makes sense.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah.
The UI is pretty decent.
Yeah. You can definitely see that they've learned a lot from the first game. Like, even just from the outset, you could tell like this was definitely a better version of that other game that I played, because it felt a lot better to play, a lot smoother, and the gunplay felt way better. Like they were they're still a bit spongy. The enemies are still a bit spongy, but it has a logical consistency to it now. Like it's not fucking some dude in a fucking mankini is rolling around on roller skates with fucking guns, and you're
just headshotting him and he's just not dying.
Yeah, what is this mankini made of? I don't fucking understand. There's armor, and if they don't have armor, then they crumple pretty quick, which is fun. It feels much more satisfying to like interact with from a gunplay perspective.
So I think there was bits where that very first mission we got to the top, and it was like the bit where you kind of, there's like a gazebo there or something, and you're sort of holding the top roof, and then eventually a gold dude comes out, and we were just laying into this guy. He's like got stacks of armor, but we weren't really doing much damage because I don't think we were focusing on his like weak points on his back.
Any specific parts or armor or anything like that, and then all of a sudden his armor shredded, and
and he just dropped.
Done. Gonzo. Yeah.
So I think once you learn those aspects of like what you should be looking for in some of these guys, then it could be a bit different. But other than that particular guy, it wasn't really too challenging on PC.
It felt too easy, like way too easy. Uninterestingly too easy. which is why I kept running off into higher level sections to try and find some sort of challenge.
And you were definitely finding
It's
you die a lot.
There's like a hideous disparity there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think one level should mean the difference between like pissing my way through enemies and then like one level higher I'm getting fucking shredded by them. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's too big a difference in my opinion. Like, yeah, I don't know.
But it also could be because you didn't have 3 other people there shooting at this thing, or
yeah.
Instead you've got you going up against a squad of
15
people and all of them aiming at you.
Yeah, there is a bit of that. But yeah,
once we showed up, we were like, we went running in that area with all of us.
Well, yeah, we did like, I think we did a second mission and it was all level 4 stuff and we were level 3. So
yeah, so I hadn't done that one before.
Right.
And that was
a better one, I thought.
It ended like towards you had this giant like pit in the middle, and there was that chick yelling, and she's like throwing people off the balcony.
Yeah.
And then we had to chase her.
Yeah, that was more interesting to me, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you had to restart because we were having.
Yeah, if you didn't restart the game every 2 to 3 hours,
it's like a memory leak.
Definitely a memory leak. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't do that last fight. Basically, I watched it as a PowerPoint slideshow at 3 frames a second. 3 frames a second, I say, because that's what GeForce was telling me. But I think GeForce at that point had slowed down to 3 frames a second, and was only updating every fucking 3 weeks, because fucking hell, it was not. Yeah, it was maybe 1 frame every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It was fucked. It was well fucked. So I couldn't help at all, which I'm sure. Actually, didn't. No, I did do that last fight because I quit and then re-entered before the fight itself.
We waited.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that last fight, but I didn't do the fight immediately before it. It was good. Like, it was good at reconnecting me. That was handy. And I don't think I got punished for leaving and coming back. It didn't seem like I did.
Nah, because it's all like all the gear again is instanced to each player. It's not like the old Borderlands game, where you just fucking run in and just steal everything.
Yeah.
Or it's like Diablo. Most current RPGs where it's like, all right, this is your stuff and that's what you get. So if it's there, then it'll still be there when you get back. If you're not with somebody on your team when they're fighting somebody else, then you'll still get experience. Like, it's pretty standard stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I guess after that, we just kind of roamed around and.
Yeah, we were I had to bail before we got to the Dark Zone stuff.
Yeah, so the Dark Zone was on the bottom right-hand side of the map.
Yep.
And you had to basically run there, and it's like a single-player mission at that point. It sort of gets you into that area, and there's some high-level. I think they're like level 7s or something, sort of around that area. Like, they still had the outer bounds area in the map, but out of that area there were like high level dudes still out there and shit, so you could aggro them and just get destroyed. Like, at one point Clev and I were playing, and we could, what is that guy in the corner? I think it's a sniper rifle. You can see like a flashlight on your screen, and then all of a sudden we were both just dead. Like, some dude we'd aggro with a shotgun or something ran over and just murdered us in like a split second.
Nice.
But anyway, you get to the Dark Zone, and it's it's basically just a normal mission, a single player mission. It gets you in there. It sort of teaches you the basics about how like the Dark Zone works. Going in and clearing a bunch of enemy AI that roam the area. Teaches you about extracting contaminated gear. So you'll get high level gear in the Dark Zone that needs to be extracted, and then once it's extracted, you can use it. It's sort of like contaminated with a virus.
Yep.
And you do that by calling in, going into specific sections on the map and calling in a plane or a helicopter. The helicopter takes about 1.5 minutes to come in. At that stage, you can have in reality, you can have other players in the world come and try and steal your gear if they want. So it sort of teaches you that sort of stuff, but with enemy AI. and then it gets you to go back out.
Was there teammate betrayal?
I don't know about that specific single player mission bit,
Right.
but once you leave and then you come back in, and then it's multiplayer. Like it's a proper instance area, and so Kleb and I jumped in, and Rogue 2.0 was something they introduced in Division, the first one. They ended up changing the way the rogue system works, and I guess the big fundamental change was you no longer go rogue when you shoot an enemy player. It's what was happening was that people were kind of either accidentally shooting people, or you come into a situation where like enemies would purposefully run in like in front of you and try and trigger that rogue situation. It's things that they talked about in like Fallout 76 when they were thinking about that wanted system, like people just trying to work a way around it and try and game it. That system a little bit. So now it's a manual thing where you have to actually press a button and then go into Rogue and say like, hey, I want to PvP people now. And once you do that, you get marked up as being Rogue. It'll tell you on the bottom of the screen like an agent has gone rogue with their name. You obviously don't know where they are in the game. You can't, in that map, you can't see them. But once you like see them in your viewpoint, then you'll know because they'll be a different color as opposed to like white or green. They'll be like red, so you can actually engage with them and you'll start doing damage. And if you're rogue, you can kill other players in the world. And once you do that, it sort of like raises your rogue level. And then at a certain point, if you manage to keep either wiping people out or do certain objectives, you can clear your rogue level and you'll get gear out of that. And I guess the higher your rogue level, the better the gear that you end up getting. So it sort of incentivizes you to keep pushing it, like the gambling thing of like how high can you go, the wager system. So that's the kind of stuff that we saw. I didn't experience any of the betrayal stuff yet.
Right.
It was literally just me and Kleb running around.
You could have fucking betrayed Kleb.
Yeah. But we were in there. We did some. we rolled in, and like one of the first things we heard was some gunfire. So we went over there, and there was like a dude shooting some high level mobs, and we went over and helped him, and then we all got a bunch of gear, and then we were sort of walking around, and we found a control panel on a wall, and at this stage, like Kleb was trying to make us go rogue, and he was like trying to set us up. He couldn't really figure it out. But I initiated this thing on the panel, and then all of a sudden it was like, you're rogue now. And it was like a series of missions. You had to go find these panels in the world and activate them. And and just go figure like sort of chain your way through like 5 or 6 of these things. And once you actually end up finishing that entire event, then it takes you to like the Thieves' Den. And that's it shows you like the entrance to it. So you can go down there. And it's not entirely... it wasn't working while we were playing, but you get down there and there's like a quartermaster or something, and you're obviously supposed to give him whatever it is you're getting out of that. Dark Zone coins, yep. And then he'll give you Thieves' Den gear for PvPing and doing rogue stuff. So that was in there, and and so while you're doing that, other people can come and try and get you, but also you're trying to clear out all the Dark Zone AI as well, the enemies that are sort of roaming around. At one point, like, there was somebody trying to extract some gear, and we just rolled up on them and let loose, and then another team rolled up and started shooting at us. Like we had like 2 or 3 teams at that point come in and try and murder us, and so they ended up killing us, and then we spawned back in, and we didn't really have a lot of time left to get over there, but we managed to sort of come back and start another fight with them. But yeah, that sort of stuff is a lot of fun. Like it feels like there's more, like the thing we've always talked about in some of these PvP type games where you can be a dick if you want to, but at the end of the day, like, are you really getting anything out of it? And in this case, you sort of are.
Yeah.
Like, if they've got stuff, you can get rewarded for that.
Yep.
So yeah, that feels kind of a lot better. And the fact that there seems to be, it's not just that, the entire thing. Like, you can go around and do missions within that Dark Zone as well. Same sort of thing as like Sea of Thieves. You've got your PvP stuff, but you can go hunt for treasure. I don't know how deep it's going to get in terms of the content in there. It's only supposed to be, I believe, 12 players in the Dark Zone.
What?
It's like per area. Like they're not huge. If you remember the Dark Zone, they weren't huge. Like the Dark Zone was massive, but it was split up into like levels, right, to try and keep people segregated into their thing. And the way that New York was laid out, it was just pretty much like blocks, right? It was just a square block, and then you get up a little bit further on, and then that's when it started to get a bit more like detailed and deeper. You'd start going underground into subways and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this like actual area, it's not as like it's not humongous, but there's still a lot of places to explore, and it's not like flat ground. It is elevated. There are it's not just a square. There are places to go and like look for little crevices and crates you can climb and elevations that you can sort of get up, and yeah, it's definitely a bit more thought put into at least that part. I just don't know like how.
Well, 12 people's
like,
only 3 teams, right? Like
maybe it is more than 12. I thought it was 12.
That just seems really low. You'd think at least 16, right? Like surely.
I'd have to confirm. I feel like I heard somewhere it was 12. I'm just trying to check now. But it seems like there's still cool ideas there.
I played some of the endgame stuff. I jumped back in.
Missions.
Well, that was the thing, right? Like I jumped in the next morning.
Okay.
Check out the endgame stuff, like level 30, and you've got that special weapon, like your third weapon. Went with a sniper rifle. It's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
It's like a 50 cal fucking fuck your day up. Beast motherfucker. And I jumped in, but you couldn't free roam. You could only do the mission.
Yeah.
And so I was running around outside the mission because you weren't in the mission. You were sort of at the entrance to the mission. So I was running around on the outskirts of the mission with these like late game, end game weapons, like all gold shit, just like popping, like aggroing enemies from as far away as humanly possible, and then they'd all come fucking swarming in, and I'd take them all on. And then I'd go over the other side and aggro another one about 200 meters, 2 blocks down, and take them all on. It was good fun. But I didn't want to do the mission on my own, and I didn't want to matchmake with anyone, so I didn't really get into it. Jacuz. Someone's at the door, but I'm not going to go for it. My wife is away from home, and she can get it. So that was pretty interesting. Like the extra layer of the game, the extra weapon added, seemed like a cool little adjustment, because another perk, right? Yeah, exactly. Like at the same time, it didn't function like an ultimate. It's not like something that has to build up. You've just got you got this beast weapon. You've just only got a couple of fucking shots with it, so you gotta work out when you're gonna use that. It was good. Like that felt really like. I always really liked getting the beast sniper rifles. I'm not like an amazing sniper, but I was really like getting the beast sniper rifles in other games because, there's when they're done right, there's something fucking weighty about just like lining it up and shooting the fucking thing. You feel like you're going to fucking punch a hole through God with that thing, and it's like something you fucking could. This one nails it perfectly. And the sniper dude starts with a good sniper rifle as his default weapon. And then you switch to 50 cal. Like, you're already like, I'm already headshotting cunts. And it's like, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, fuck yeah, this fucking rules. And then I'm like, doesn't feel like a 50 cal though. Like, I don't understand. It's a good sniper rifle, but I don't understand how. Shouldn't it be bolt action or something? And then I'm like, oh, this isn't it. And I switch to the fucking big one, and it's like, boom, and like fucking, I miss, but I hit them in the fucking shoulder and their entire half of body, and like anime style buildings fucking fall down behind and shit. You're like, yeah, that one works. And then it fucking wrenches the bolt out, and you're like, yep, that's good enough for me. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't do missions, so. Yeah, and I didn't do any of the dark mode stuff. Yeah, it was a very confusing layout for the beta, I thought. Like, I didn't really understand how it was supposed to work. I feel like that could have been detailed a bit better, because I was like, fuck. How the fuck am I going to play this, like, in the Dark Zone at level 30 or whatever the fuck? Or, like, can we still play in the Dark Zone? Will people want to play in the free roam stuff now that they can play in the level 30 stuff, like, in-game? Like, I don't think they did that very well.
Right.
And
that was, like, you had to create a new character to get into that part, right?
No, so what they did was they just grabbed the character that you created and sort of auto-made 3 loadouts for him that were all super high level. Right. So it was like a copy paste of that one character that you'd already made, with super high end game shit.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Which is good. Yeah.
Yeah. I did check it. It is at the moment it's set to 12 players. So
doesn't seem like much.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, right? I mean, when we were playing, it definitely felt like it wasn't barren. We were running into people quite a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the thing, right? Maybe they don't... Like, you don't want to be engaged with people, like, running into people all the time. You want it to feel a bit more isolated. I don't know. Maybe...
Yeah.
Maybe we just got to play more of it and see what happens. I just remember playing a lot of the first division in that Dark Zone and spending tons of time in there.
Yep.
It was fun. So, yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise, is there anything else to say about division stuff? Yeah, I mean, they still got some technical stuff to work out. It's obviously early.
But it hopefully won't launch with a memory leak that forces everyone to restart the game every 2 hours.
Yep.
We didn't even know. Was it Bear? Looked it up and found that it was like they're recommending everyone reset every 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
We've found that people are having some frame stuttering. Such classic hedging speak. Some frame stuttering after 3 hours, and meanwhile I'm at like fucking 67 minutes in and I can barely put 2 fucking frames together, and I'm like, yeah, 2 hours is probably pushing it, let alone fucking some at 3. Yeah, it was good. Anyway, then again, I did have 400 tabs open in Chrome, so maybe that, lowered the time frame a bit.
I think it happened to all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Like at least twice, 3 times, we were all restarting at certain points.
Yeah.
To try and get that sorted out. And the only other thing is when Clever and I were playing Dark Zone, they were doing server resets or something.
Oh, okay.
At some stage, which wasn't just affecting Dark Zone; it was dropping us out of our group.
The whole thing, yeah,
entirely. Right. And then we jump back in, and it'd be like waiting to connect, and then after about a minute or two, it'd finally connect, and it'd be like 400 people in queue, and then it'd just start ticking down really quickly.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of connecting to stuff, I don't know if it's just because I played a lot of Battlefield, but Uplay seemed like it was extra dog shit with the whole partying up thing. Why would you party up in Uplay and not have them be able to join the game from there? That would, you have to invite people to join your party in game, separate to Uplay, even though the the fucking invite comes in to join
Uplay.
Oh my god! Come on, sort that out. That's not good. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's especially embarrassing if Origin is doing it better, because fucking got a fucking bing bong on fucking Origin this morning. It turned out all my notification settings have been reset for some fucking reason, because I have all notifications on Origin turned the fuck off, so I don't have to find out every time someone's joining a fucking game I don't give a fuck about. I have all notifications in every fucking thing turned off, because I don't care about when other people are playing games. Yeah, in fact, it just annoys the fuck out of me to see someone is playing a game when I'm not able to. And if I am able to play a game, then I'm just playing a fucking game. Yeah, like, drives me bananas. So I've got all notifications turned off. But yeah, this morning, all my fucking Origin notification settings switched back off. I wonder if I hope it hasn't been like a full reset. That'd be really annoying. I might have to check, because you know how fucking Origin's voice shit is all weird? You know, no?
No.
If you want to talk to people... If you want to talk to people in Battlefield 5, you have to have the VoIP settings in Battlefield 5 set up, but you also have the VoIP settings in Origin set up correctly. And it is a thing. It's a fucking ordeal to get them set correctly if you've got more than one microphone. And because I have a webcam and a microphone and the headset and the Vive of Origin's like, I don't fucking know. Fuck you. Fucking you rich prick. Why don't you fucking talk to people on your goddamn phone, you prick? Origin's like, I don't give a fuck. You can't talk to people. And you can't hear people either. It's really weird. Anyway, so yeah, I hope it hasn't reset all that, but I'll have to check. Speaking of voice over IP in games, Apex Legends has probably the worst voice over IP codec I've ever heard in my entire life. I don't think people need to be 400 times louder than anything else in the world, and they certainly don't need to be distorted as all fuck. Like, you probably free up a little bit of bandwidth to transmit.
What's your bit rate? 10. Let's go with that.
Yeah, 10's a number, right?
10's a number. Let's go with 10. 10's the max you can get, and we'll make the volume 110.
Yeah, what's the highest you can get? We generally cap it 20 to preserve human hearing. 120, you've got it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah. Like, holy fuck. Every time you queue up with a random in that game, not only can I not understand a single word they've said, it'll always be like, and I'll be like,
are they in character?
What did they say? It'll also have like been so loud that I won't be able to hear anything anyway. So it'll be like, well, okay, maybe once the ringing in my ears stops, the tinnitus ends, I can ask them to repeat what they just said. But no idea. I have like a full like complex about this shit. Like, I have full blown like stress that maybe I'm having like mini strokes sometimes in that game. Like, people will straight up say shit. They're like, yeah, I'm like, that wasn't English, right? Like, did you understand what they said, Luke? And you're like, yeah, he said, I'm just going to head over here and see if they've got any guns. And we're like, how the fuck did you get that? How did you understand any of what they just said? You're like, oh, it's super easy. Don't worry about it. I'm like, fucking now you're going to translate every fucking thing this person says. Ludicrous. Yeah, if it's more than like two, if they utter more than 2 syllables a word, good luck. Like, there's no chance I'm going to understand them. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they've got like a codec that specifically only works for American accents or something. Like, it's perfectly tuned for the American accent, and Australians just sound incomprehensible. Because they're like, they tested it, right? They got an Australian to test the codec, right? But they couldn't understand anything Australian said anyway. So like, yeah, sounds about right. What did he say? Something about something? I don't know. Yeah, fuck it. They don't make any sense. Did he just say bathroom? Is he going to have a bath? Fucking crazy. Can't have been that. Probably that. Just leave it. Yeah, anyway. Voiceover by IP in that game is dog shit. And... well, thank God they got a ping system.
It works, yeah.
You'd be fucking done, eh? We had a really good game last night, or yesterday, Arvo, with a brand new player that was extremely valuable. He was so new to the point that he didn't know how to do anything at all. He didn't
do the training.
Couldn't accomplish shit. The better part was that he was the aggroest player I've ever seen in a fucking battle royale game. I've never seen anyone fucking just beeline towards death as fast as this dude did. We started, was it artillery? We started artillery, right?
Oh, was it me and you?
Yeah, me and you and that
okay.
and that brand new guy. The one, yeah. We started artillery and it ended like over near slums. This game ended near slums, and this dude, right?
I think he didn't stop running.
He'd left artillery. I'm like trying to find some armor, and this dude is already halfway to the fucking next spot. All right, he's already fucking pissed off, and he's just fanging down this fucking tunnel. He went down the other tunnel to what we went down, no less. And he gets on top of this fucking building and he just starts shooting at people. Like, it's just fucking, yeah, cool. We can see his icon. He's like shooting. He's got like muzzle flashes, and he's definitely engaging with people. And then he starts taking some hits, and he's like pinging where they are. And then so like we're fucking looting as fast as we can. I'm like, fucking, oh, grab some of this. Oh, fuck, I've got no fucking heavy ammo. Oh, I don't fucking know. Grab this. Oh, I got some fucking white armor. Just fucking run. We slide down this fucking mountain to where he's like fucking... He ran, like, solo. He jumped off the building and ran at the fucking team of 3 that he was fighting with. So we're like, fuck. We get in there, and somehow... He's nicked off. He's continued running. Like, he just ran in and just fucking ran out again, like fucking Forrest Gump or some shit. Meanwhile, like, we've arrived and we kill his fucking team. And he fucking somehow just ran back through and stole the best armor and then fucking continued running on again. I couldn't fucking believe it. And then, like, so... I've got like fucking 15 bullets between both of my guns, right? And he's already pinging off in the wrong direction to another fucking firefight. And I'm like... typing frantically. I'm like, please go this way. I don't have any ammo. And he's like you can see his fucking icon like turning back and forth. The arrow is like turning back at us and then turning back this way, and he pings towards the firefight. And then I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. You can go die. I got no ammo. I can't like do anything, right? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I just run off the direction that I wanted to go. And he eventually follows us, and we go through the pit. We're like looting through the pit. The pit was already looted, but like there's a bit of ammo around, and he didn't care. Like, he doesn't need anything. He's got the best armor out of any of us, despite having not really been in a fight. He's got all the ammo he fucking needs. So yeah, he just fucking pings on through the pit, continues on to that pipe into, what do they call it? Runoff, right? Or I don't know.
Something now. Yeah.
Runoff. He fucking fangs his way into runoff. Gets us into another fight. Shockingly, there's gunfire. There's 2 teams duking it out, and he just fucking piss bolts his way into the middle of them. We, doing our best, fucking follow him in. I get like 1 knockdown. Did you knock down someone or 2 people?
I got 1, I think. Yeah.
And like, but we both get downed and then finished. And he's
not anywhere near us at this point.
He has, like, run off again, somehow. He's run into the fight and run out of the fight again. And then, like, when I died, he come over the fucking thing. He's like, oh, I need this help. I'm like, yeah, cunt, I need some fucking help. Like, where the fuck are you? Like, you're fucking 200 meters away. Like, good God. And he runs back in. He just runs back in. There's 2 teams here, right? And they're fighting it out. And he just runs his way back in, runs up to my body and picks up my dog tags. Your dog tags are 5 meters away, and he runs past them. I'm like, go get Luke. Go get Luke's dog tags. And he's like fucking working it out. He's like looking at your crate, and then he's looking back and looking at your crate and looking back. And then he runs over to your dog tag. You're sitting there smashing the space bar so that like you ping him to come get you. And it times out, like, just as he runs up to you. He's been 10 meters from you this entire fucking time. Oh my God. And then I don't know what you did. You fucking left.
Because I kept pressing, because I was mashing spacebar.
Yeah.
And it turns out that eventually it comes up on the screen and it's like, I think spacebar makes you quit.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
I
yeah.
kept
Do you
pressing
want to
it.
exit to the lobby?
And I'm just pressing it, and all of a sudden I'm back in the lobby, and I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. I guess I'm not watching this one. Doesn't matter, because we're not going to win. This fucking idiot is then, because I'm watching him as he's like not reviving me, he goes downstairs, and rather than running towards the spawn beacon, which is probably 150 meters behind you,
Yeah.
he starts running into the other team and shooting
Running
them.
towards them.
He's shooting the other team. He's got no
Start
health.
another fight.
He's got like a SMG, and he starts fighting another dude, and then like looking behind a wall, and then he's like, and then he starts chasing him. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just go get Joe res back up. You don't need to. These other teams are shooting each other. But he's like, nah. And then so he runs back in the fucking building again and starts going back upstairs. No, don't do any of that. Just leave. I don't know. By this stage, I think I'm still mashing spacebar.
Yeah.
then the
We
game
needed to
quits.
tell him how to repair his armor. Because after he lost all his armor in that very first engagement that he got us into, he lost all his armor and then never replenished it and just like fucking pissed off. But got it back again when he stole the best armor. So he had we didn't have a chance to tell him how to replenish his armor at that point. And then we had to tell him how to fucking use shield cells. He worked out the syringe 100%, but I think he must have just been pressing 4.
Yeah.
Right? And never held down on 4 to bring up the wheel to, use the fucking shield cell or whatever the fuck. Because he had no fucking clue. So we had to tell him how to fucking replenish his shields. He was very green. Extremely green. Anyway, so I explained to him that he should run towards the green thing on the map. And he just sort of, fucking casually runs over there. Yeah, easy peasy. And he calls me back in while these 2 teams are still fighting out. I think it was 3 teams at this point because we were getting down to the business end of this fucking game. 3 teams, they're all duking it out, and I come back in. He runs through the immediate area and steals all of the ammo, 100%. So I land, and there's a wingman with no ammo, and that's my gun. So I got a wingman of full 4 bullets. Dude, can you drop me some ammo? And he grapples up to the top of this building, and then he starts throwing ammo down. I can't get up there. It's like, oh, yeah, right. So he doesn't come down. He just starts throwing it off the top of the building. Why? I don't understand. What is your game plan? Anyway, we get sort of lucky. The 3 other teams dwindle their way down to just one other team, and a fucking airdrop comes in and lands way away from them, sort of inside the circle even. And so I managed to get a mastiff shotgun out of it. So I've got a wingman and some 24 bullets, and the mastiff shotgun with 12 bullets. And did I have armor? I think I didn't have armor. I'm running around. I'm like, dude, I got to get armor or I'm gonna die. So I sort of ran. I'm like, we should just push. I'm like, we're gonna lose this fucking game anyway. Let's just fucking push. So we push in, and I run up and grab some armor, and then I just start I'm caustic. So I just start throwing fucking gas traps, fucking everywhere, everywhere, because they're still clearly healing themselves back up. There can only really be one general place with this one building. There just aren't any other places for them to be. Otherwise, we would have seen them. They would have seen us, and I'd be dead already. And so, let's throw these gas traps around, and then fucking chuck a bunch of grenades on the ground, and then we ping off back into the circle because we're not in the circle at this point. And I just gas them, keep them gassed all the entire run into the circle, and he fucking pings off again. Right, so I'm holding at the edge of the circle, so they'll have to actually fight into me and through my gas. But he's run off in another direction across the other side of this fucking trench, and so yeah, he's gone. It's over. I'm like, fuck a duck. Oh, what are we gonna do?
They still press the spacebar at this point.
Well, they push me. And he pings them from way off. I don't even think he was in the circle. I think he was just outside the circle anyway, but he works it out. So one of them like splits off to go after him. I've got gas all around me, and I fucking mastiff this. It must have been Grapple Dude. It must have been the robot. The robot like pushed me up. I put him down, and then I get pinged from the other side of the fucking thing. The person that had chased him down. So I go down, and he runs up. I'm pretty sure he used the wingman, and he fucking just took fucking potties, and he killed them, and we won the fucking game. Inexplicably, he got one kill. That last kill, the only one that matters, baby. The only one that matters. So we got that win. And I have never been more shocked in my entire fucking life.
Yeah, I uninstalled the game after that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was spectacular. That was like the second game in a row where I got respawned and we came back to win. Because we'd done it in the previous game with Bear. I tweeted it, where we were
fighting everybody.
Yeah, we're fucking literally surrounded, and I pushed a bit too far because I didn't really know where the fuck they were. There was just smoke everywhere. It was like everyone had Bangalore or some shit, and so there was like fucking smoke here and there and fucking smoke, and I'm like chucking. No, I was grapple boy, so I'm like fucking. I can't even put out my own gas, and so I grapple my way up and fucking start some shit. But fucking like they pop out of the woodworks. Like every bit of smoke had some person in it.
Yeah.
So like they just like come walking out of the smoke, and I'm like, what? Where the fuck did you come from? And I'm like halfway through reloading, and they fucking put me down, and then they immediately finish me off. And so you like, I don't even know how you did it. I don't know how you fucking got me back up, because I rewatched it, and you should have been as surrounded as I was, because there was still fucking like three other teams at this point. But like you've sort of pushed up over my body.
I downed a lot of players.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I downed like 4 players at one stage.
But like they weren't dead, right? They were getting themselves back up.
I think I killed maybe 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because at that stage, I didn't realize there was that many teams there, because we were just shooting one team, and then the team like I was shooting at started shooting at someone else, and then so I was shooting at those guys, and then they were shooting at someone else, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? How many teams are here?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, it was just fucking like mayhem. Like it was fucking all over the place, and like I'd so totally resigned myself to the fact that we were fucked. Like 100% resigned myself to the fact that we lost this game, and that was all my fault for over pushing. And then Bear disconnected. All right, his game dropped out, and suddenly I had a reprieve. It was all Bear's fault instead of mine. So that was pretty good. But like, I'm like, now like he's all alone. What the fuck is he supposed to do? And like you were like at one point you were literally standing in the middle of the open.
In the middle of the circle.
In the middle of this fucking desert, right? Like, and there's cover like 50 meters to your front, and there's cover 50 meters to your rear. But if you run to the cover in your fronts, then there's fucking 4 billion fucks over there. And then you start getting shot from the behind. I'm like, how the fuck is he going to get out of this? And you just like, it was like you were the reverse of Charlize Theron in fucking Prometheus. Because instead of running in the line, you just fucking veered off to the left. And that was it. Like, it was like he didn't exist anymore. And there's some object permanence shit for these other teams, because they're like, oh, he must be gone. Whatever. Easy peasy. Don't worry about it. Like, we were literally just getting shot by a dude who was 30 meters in that direction, but he's not there anymore. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's cool.
Because you know what I was doing? I think that I downed one dude, or at least got him pretty low.
Oh.
And then the second one was trying to back him up in front of me. And then they started throwing smokes out. And I was miraged. And so I kept putting decoys into the smoke, and you could just see them, like, shooting at something and like reloading in the smoke. And so that was kind of wasting their time while I was running to the top of the mountain to try and revive you.
Yeah, so you run up to the fucking respawn beacon. Inexplicably, these two other teams continue fighting one another while this dropship makes more noise than fucking anything alive. Like the fucking loudest noise ever just fucking bores its way in. And I jump off this fucking ship. I'm alive again. And I've got nothing. I've got no guns, no nothing. And I'm like, sure hope this crate has guns. And unlike the fucking other dude, he didn't steal all the fucking ammo from the fucking crate immediately. So I land and get a Mastiff. Not a Mastiff. I get the fucking Peacekeeper. I got my fucking favorite shotgun. And I've got 10 bullets, I think. No armor, but I did get a grenade. And then, like, we're running. You're like, we should just push because they're fighting into each other. And I'm like, yep, totally. But I happened to notice there was like a drop pod, like literally next to us. So I run up there and there's a Kraber in the drop pod, the sniper rifle. And that's the gold 50 cal sniper rifle that you can only get from the drop pod. Well, I've never seen it outside of it. I'm pretty sure you can only get it there. And that was it. We're like, well, fuck, let's go in. And so you go in like the north end of this town, and I go into the south end. But as we're like sliding in, one team finishes off the other. And so it's down to two teams left.
I was helping at this stage. I was shooting both teams.
Yeah, you were sort of shooting from your vantage point. You were doing damage, and I was still really panicked about not having any armor at this point in the game. But
they where I was, they were basically sort of shooting each other, and then eventually when that one team won, I could still see the second team, and so I'm shooting them, and then I run out of ammo.
Oh, yeah.
The dude that I'd killed earlier as I was trying to get to you had his boxes right in front of me. And so I open it and he's got like all the ammo that I need, and I just pick it up and then start shooting the guy. And rather than him going back into cover, he runs out in the open to try and revive his friend on the other side. And I am just like, I'm getting so many hits. And then it must have been like one bullet left and it would have killed him. And then I think you grenaded him or something like that, and he just goes straight down. I'm like, all right, yep, that was easy.
I figured that must have been the dude you were shooting, because yeah, I aimed it and like lobbed it in, and there's no way you can't prime grenades.
You can't cook them.
Yeah, you can't cook them. Yeah, you can't cook grenades, which I find mildly annoying, but. Like, if you arc it in the right way, you can sort of make it land so there's fuck all time. It takes about, like, 3 seconds, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't done, like, I could probably just, like, have a look. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's, like, 3 seconds. And explode. So if you arc it in the right way, it'll, like, land with, like, 1 second left anyway. So if they're a little bit low on health, though, they're fucked regardless. And, yeah, so you're like, oh, yeah, I've hit him real hard and then explode and he's down. I'm like, yeah, I got him. Sorry.
I
got this. And then yeah, the other dude like is like hiding behind the wall just on the other side of you, and fucking he's easy for my fucking the Kraber. I line him up, headshot him. He's down in 1. And then yeah, you've spotted the last guy who's clearly just charging straight at me. I like managed to grab some armor off. It turns out Bear's dead body. He died in the perfect place for me to pick shit up from. And then yeah, turned the corner, fucking boom with the shotty. Another boom, and you're like running in behind. He's like running at me with this SMG. He clearly doesn't have many options. He's surrounded at this point. But
yeah, again,
like the anti-Charlize Theron, he turns off. He doesn't run straight at me, which is probably a good plan. And yeah, but I'm sort of guessed where he was going. He's just trying to loop around. So I shot him in the face. We got the win. That felt like a huge success. That one. There's a little bit of everything that's awesome about Apex Legends in that win. The respawn and the fucking general good RNG system that they've got, like that ability for it to, I don't think it was definitely luck. There was a lot of luck in, getting my favorite shotgun. Like if it had been in a Mozambique, it might have been a different story. Or getting a Kraber out of the fucking drop pod. The drop pod even being there. Yeah, like there was luck, right? But at the end of the day, the win itself came down to skill and positioning, right? Like we had them literally from both sides. You managed to use your character skills in such a way as to keep yourself alive, like keep yourself alive long enough to get me back in the fight. So there was that. There was superior positioning, really good, like fantastic teamwork, and like good gunplay. Like I half whiffed one of my shotgun shots, but apart from that, like I aimed my grenade perfectly. You called out where I should be throwing the grenade at perfectly. I hit 90% of my shots perfectly, and we won the fucking game. Like, and you hit all of your shots, I assume. Like
all of them, every bullet, Joe.
Of course.
I don't miss.
I know. It's disconcerting. But yeah, that it was sort of like the apex of Apex Legends. The apex, and we're the legends.
Was that the one where we did 3 wins in a row? Was that a time?
Yeah, that was.
I had a lot of wins yesterday, and there was one point when we got 3 in a row.
That was the second of our 3 wins in a row.
Right.
And the win after that was when the fucking Bambino failed to respawn you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was a good run. That was a good run. I had I think before that we must have gone on like a run of seconds as well.
Yeah.
I reckon we probably had like 7 games where we were first or second.
Yeah, even
in
yesterday.
a row.
Yeah, yes. Like my last game last night was a second place.
Yeah.
As well.
Like, I was saying this yesterday. I don't know if you were in the game. I was saying it to, I think it was Kleb, but I feel like the game puts too much weight on armor. I think armor is too important. Like, it can decide a win. There's too much. I'm not sure exactly because it seems like once armor breaks, there's no like spillover. You don't have, like, so if armor breaks on a shotgun shot, then that is a whole number break. So you do 200 damage and you only needed 150 to break the armor, then there's no spillover. You won't do 50 damage on top of that. Is my gut feeling. And so it feels like the better your armor, the higher your chance is to have a positive outcome from negating that spillover. Mm-hmm. So if you've got purple or gold, you are at a significant advantage over blue or especially white.
Sure.
Which means that, like, rolling, and I know that loot is obviously always a pretty important part in any battle royale, but if it means that there is a significant power disparity between having great, like, getting lucky with armor versus getting lucky with literally anything else in the game, right? Like, maybe getting unlucky with ammo. But generally, you can manage ammunition. But
yeah.
But if you get if it's just you, and you've got blue armor versus a group of fucking purple or gold armor, I don't feel like you have a valid path to victory. You can't outposition that because you can't. Even if you get the drop on someone, you won't outshoot them. You won't kill them before they can turn around and kill you. You know, that's my biggest criticism of Apex, I think, at the moment, is that armor plays too big a role in the end game, in the one-on-ones, in the 50-50s. There's too big a disparity, and I'm pretty sure it's spillover. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I've been racking my brain trying to work it out, and I've been watching video back and trying to work out if that's actually what's happening. It's hard to tell with some weapons, like rapid firing machine guns. It like spillover doesn't really play into it all that much, but with like grenades and shotguns and sniper rifles, spillovers are pretty like high impact one shots. Spillover appears to occur. I'm not sure, but that's my gut feeling. And yeah, it's pretty annoying because it does feel like you're rolling in. Yeah, if you're in the last two teams and you've still only got blue armor, I don't know. It just feels like you're probably destined to come second. I'd say most of our seconds, we come second most of the time when we've got shit armor at the end. And I'd say if we come in with good armor, it doesn't matter if they've got purple or blue. We'll usually win because we've got superior positioning and as good firepower.
Mm-hmm.
That's my gut. But that's why I think we come second a lot of the time. Yep. Bad loot.
Or people disconnecting.
Or that. Yeah, that's also pretty annoying. There's some stuff. I don't want to say the honeymoon phase is over because I'm just still loving it. But I've definitely noticed a bunch of shit that is bugging the fuck out of me. Like the disconnections, the lack of ability to reconnect is really, really bumming me out. Even if you could, like, they disconnected and you had to respawn them in, that'd be better. Right? Like,
yeah,
that'd be better than nothing at all. I can understand not. Like, the best thing would be for them to just come back into their own body. But I understand not allowing that because the game moves a lot faster. Right? So the circle moves a lot faster, so you'd have to get really circle blessed to be able to disconnect, restart your game, and then come back in time to actually live. I think there'd be a lot of luck there. But yeah, even if you just had to respawn, like hit a respawn point, I think that would be significantly better than nothing at all. Because yeah, you're literally just down a person at that point, and it kind of sucks. It's hard to fucking overcome because yeah, I count how many players are left. I do the maths. I'll call it out. Like 4 teams left and 10 players. That means that like one team has 1 person or 2 teams have 2. Like, I think it's actually valuable information, like knowing what you're going up against, because you can count how many people die, and then you can see the kill feed. It'll do question marks once you get down to 3 teams to sort of hide it, but you still get to see the kill feed and you still make educated guesses on how many people are left alive.
Yep.
At the end of the game, and it does inform your choices. And making a mistake can fuck you up. If you push into what you think is 2 and it turns out there's a 3rd, it can get you fucking killed. Like, yeah. And by the same token, doing nothing that should have cost you a 3rd person, but having to go into the last circle with just two of you is a disadvantage.
Yep.
And it sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, my biggest issue is, and I think I put this on Twitter as well yesterday, the like lack of communication from them in terms of what's actually happening with the game.
Yeah.
Like just that the error that I'm getting, the crashes. I seem to be the only one that's actually experienced them a lot. I think everybody's sort of had it once or twice, but mine is happening. Sometimes I'll play a game. Like, I'll play a day and, like, it won't happen at all. And then other times, it'll be, like, every 3rd game, it'll just fucking crash. And the thread at the moment for this particular error is, I think it's the highest one on the support page. And it's like, there's no one in there from EA saying, like, we're working. There was one person at the start of the thing that was, like, try and update your drivers. And since then, no one from the support team has said anything in that thread, and it's up to like 500 replies or something like that. Like replies without people saying they got the same issue. I saw Alex Walker's having the same. He's having that same problem as well.
Has he got a 20 series card as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking finally,
But it's
the 20 series bigwigs get fucked.
But it's not just the 20 series, because there's people on AMDs that are having the same error as well.
Yeah, well, they have that coming for being on AMTs. Like, so far, all of this makes sense to me.
Yeah, I did see an NVIDIA guy in there being like, hey, try a bunch of this stuff. Like, we're looking into it. We don't... But the thing is, like, they're trying to help on their end. That it could be a driver issue, but people have tried rolling back drivers.
Yeah.
It's happening on other...
That's what you did, isn't it? You rolled back.
I didn't roll back yet.
Oh, okay.
I lowered my graphics settings a little bit to, like, medium or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's happened yet, but I haven't played a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, to me, it's the... I think, like, Treyarch, with what they did with Call of Duty, should be the standard. Like, they were on Reddit every single day with an update saying, here's what's happened today, here are the bugs we know about, here's what we're working on, here are the patch notes for today's patch, here's what it's fixed. And they do that. Well, for launch week, they did it every day up until... I think they were rolling out patches pretty much every day for about a week.
Yeah.
So the first 14 days. And then they still up, like, I think every day they still put, like, a post up saying, here's what's coming, here's what we're looking at. We're not doing a patch, but we're doing these things, whatever. And they're sort of engaging with the community and, like, letting people know what is happening. Like, I remember when we were playing, not Blackout, but we were playing, Black Ops. But we were playing, like, zombies, and we're having disconnects in zombies and all these things. Like, they were addressing those specific problems, saying, like, we know there's an issue, we're working on it, here's what we're planning on doing, and they fixed it within, like, 2 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas what Respawn has done with Apex is they've gone, like, completely silent. They've done, I think, 3 or 4 community posts on their official Reddit page because they got upset that people, I don't know if you've looked into this at all, but there was a second Apex Legends page on Reddit, and the problem there was that all the moderators were Respawn staff, and they wanted that not to happen because they didn't want Respawn to have control over communication, like deleting posts and whatnot. Eventually they came to a compromise, and everybody that was in the other, or people that were moderating in the other forum, was brought across. So now this is the official one, and people are starting to move across. But they're just not updating it at all. Like, they're not, every once in a while they'll be like, hey, we did launch, and today we did 1 million players. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And then, like, it's no content stuff. It's just, like, announcements about them doing well at their game. They put a post up today, and it was like Vince Ampella, because I was just checking it because today's Monday for them. I just, like, looked to see if they updated anything, and there was a post. They put that they hit 25 million players, and it was just a fluff post of them fucking patting themselves on the back, and then saying, hey, we've got here's what we've got coming up for Apex Legends. It's a Twitch tournament, and some Valentine's Day skins. Like, nothing about issues in the game or balancing or patches that are coming. Like, the game's been out for over, is it a week? About a week now, and they haven't done any updates other than server side patching. This, like, really big bug that that is happening for a lot of people is still don't know what's going on with that. Like, just poor communication from them, I think. And that's one way that they could sort of just let people know what's going on. It's just not a good standard to set, I think.
Yeah, 100%. It's literally what I was thinking as well. Although I was also thinking about how much Treyarch has fallen off since then. Like, I was sort of thinking, fuck. Like, my initial was, remember how good Treyarch were, and then I'm like, fuck, they have really slacked off. I think if Epic does anything better than anyone else, it is their constant fucking communication and updates. They are super engaged, and I think it's something that's very difficult for the AAAs to adapt to. It's something that I don't know that they can adapt to. It's just not how game like launches and game development has been done for so long, and I think Epic has really fucking changed the landscape. And Respawn, Treyarch were doing a good job of keeping up, but haven't in the last month or so.
Treyarch's definitely still updating.
But they're not.
They're not doing daily posts. No,
they're not doing daily. They're not doing actual content anymore. Like it's not like they're not updating the game with actual content anymore. Like Fortnite is an evolving thing like no game has ever been before, and it is occasionally to its own detriment, but like largely for longevity, for keeping the game fresh, for keeping people coming back, it is better than anything else. And Apex, being a free-to-play game, needs to keep, like, it's all well and good to have 25 million players and 2 million concurrents, blah, 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 blah. But you need to hold on to those players. You need those people. If they're not here in a month, then, like, what the fuck? Doesn't matter. What, like, cool, you made a bit of money in the short term, but you probably would have made more by releasing Titanfall 3 for $60 a pop or $100 a pop and selling 1 million copies, right? Like, yeah, like, I just don't think that monetarily you can get away with bleed out anymore. And Respawn has traditionally had a real problem with bleed out, with player bleed out. And the only way to solve it is to follow what Epic has done and keep open communication lines, keep updating the game with meaningful content, like really fucking engage with people in a way that, I think is very difficult for traditional devs, and they're gonna have to do something about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to bring up was the skins. They're way too fucking expensive. That's nuts. They're $20 a weapon skin.
They don't, like, there's no fucking, like, I don't have, you know, my position, I don't really buy into it. I don't buy into skins and shit.
Yeah, I don't buy them either, but that's just...
I know, I'm not saying you do, but I don't really buy into it. But, like, they're doing that all wrong. They're doing the whole system all wrong. You can't, like, buy skins for stuff without, like, real money. You can't buy Apex packs without real money. And that's ludicrous. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. Like, I'm earning all these fucking Legends tokens, but I've already unlocked all the Legends. Why not let me spend them on fucking loot boxes or whatever the fuck, right? Like, I don't understand where the fuck they're going with this. And you can use your tokens to buy certain weapons, but you have to have bought other skins before you can use tokens to buy those weapons. Yep. Like, nah. And then, it costs ludicrous amounts to create a skin using the in-game fucking
crafting material,
dust, whatever the fuck. Like,
I think it's like literally called crafting material.
Right, like, it costs fucking stacks, like fuck tons. Like, I don't have enough. I've played however many hours, unlocked. I've got all the characters unlocked, and I can't fucking do it. Like,
I think you're getting that stuff through crates and maybe duplicates. But we're not getting duplicates at the moment.
Yeah, you're not getting duplicates, and you're not getting enough crates. And, like, when you do get 60 fucking dust, 30 fucking dust, it's not enough fucking to do anything. You need some fucking, is it like 1200 to make a legendary skin?
Yeah.
One skin? It's fucking insane. Ugh. Yeah, like, there's so much shit in that game to accumulate. There's all, like, you need to unlock fucking stat bar things on your player icons and stuff. Like, there's so much shit that you could be spending dust on, and there's no way to earn dust or create dust or, like, get dust outside of literally leveling up or paying money for loot boxes. And that's fucking dumb as balls. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. It's insane. an entire monetization scheme is well out of control. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Yeah, who the fuck
Yeah,
created that?
and I think the problem they're in now is that once they start rolling out, unless they're planning on pumping out some of these characters,
Yeah,
they're in a bit of a like problem because they're gonna get to a point where people are gonna have too much money to be able to just unlock some of these characters. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be fine.
I'm gonna unlock the fucking as soon as they release a new character, I'll be able to unlock it like immediately.
Yeah.
It's not even gonna, like matter. Like it's gonna be fucking instant.
Like, I don't want it to be a grind,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, like, I don't think it should be at all. But they need to make their money somewhere, and I think they've fucked it up by having the skins be too much. Like, they need to be way cheaper.
Yeah.
Because unless they're going for whales, nobody's spending $20 on a gun skin, like one gun skin.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like in Dota, you can buy complete sets, like fucking everything with changes the way abilities work and whatnot. It's like a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Sometimes for that stuff, and so like, and then sometimes I'll go like way over the top and be like, here's a $15 to $20 skin, and it changes like everything. It changes like the look of all the abilities and how they work and their ultimates, and just like completely reskins everything on there. But like a weapon skin for $20 that just looks different is I think way too high. They need to bring that down a bit. And I don't think they can go now, all right, here's some new characters, but this one's going to be like twice as much. Like, what if it comes out and like, this one's $24,000 for coins? Like, you need to spend. And then there'll be a bit of backlash. I feel like you guys were charging this much for before, and now they're worth this much. Like, you've just rebalanced the whole economy.
Yeah.
They've set it up in a way that they can't go higher anymore.
Yeah.
They can't really drop the skin prices because people have already paid for that much as well. Then they're going to be wanting refunds and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think they're in a bad spot for that monetization stuff, but we'll see. I mean, are they going to bring out like a season pass type deal where?
Well, they are, aren't they? That's what they announced, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
I think they're going to do that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like that. Yeah, it's a. I just don't understand how they launched it with. I mean, it's cool. It's cool that they focused and made the fucking game as good as humanly possible first, as opposed to making the fucking monetization perfect first. I'd rather it go this way than fucking any other way, but yeah, it is pretty goofy the way it is. Fuck. Yeah. Oof. Anyway, it's literally the least consequential part of a game I otherwise fucking adore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still like absolutely loving it. Still playing it fucking every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're talking. I've read stuff about duos and solos. I think I said this last week. I don't think they need it. I think solos is fine. They don't need to add duos.
No, I don't think so either.
Just keep it as is. It's what like the ping system is good enough that you can play with other people without having to be partnered up with them. Like just solos and squads. Leave it like that.
Yep.
Don't need to dilute the pool. I mean.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to just fuck things up.
Yep.
All right. Moving on. I think there's one more, right? Crackdown 3. This is out this week. The Crackdown series is it's been an Xbox exclusive since it launched. The last game that came out, I think both of them actually were tied to pre-orders for a Halo game, or like a beta, right?
Was the first one?
I'm not.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, that was like Halo 3. Yeah.
Yeah, the second one I definitely remember it was.
Yeah.
I reviewed the second one. You might have as well. I played co-op with somebody.
I'm pretty sure we played it together. Yeah.
Not a lot, but just a tiny bit. Like we just checked it out.
Yeah.
And that was when we could you run up walls or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you could like run up walls. It was like super bare bones. I fucking love the first game, man. Like I really, really, really liked the first game. I thought it was really good, superhero style, like power fantasy nonsense. Like it
Yep.
was goofy. It was like the right level of goofy though. Like the fucking kills for skills, agents, and you'd get like fucking you'd be challenging yourself to do dumb shit constantly, like just out off the wall, trying different stuff, trying to jump as far as possible, all this kind of stuff. Like it was a really good fucking yeah superhero style game. The second game was at its best fucking about with other like another person, and that was about all the fun you got out of it. Like,
And did they throw like zombies at you or something? Like there was some sort of infected island?
yeah, and it was like really dumb, like AI and like not terribly interesting gameplay, like just sort of dull shit.
Right.
Yeah, um, yeah, not a fantastic sequel by any means.
Yeah, and I think the only reason it sold well was because it's always attached to some sort of pre-order
Yeah, yeah,
for like getting into Halo beta, and everyone was like, and that was the only way you could get in, so everyone fucking bought it.
yeah.
So yeah, Crackdown 3 was announced at E3 at 20, I think it was 2016, very early on in like the no, it was 2014. Very early on in the Xbox sort of Xbox One era. So Xbox One came out 2013, and then the E3 after that they announced it. And I remember going to that presentation. I don't know if you were there as well, but they were talking about like the Xbox One using the power of the cloud to change the way we think about games, and it's going to affect games. And Crackdown was sort of like their like test subject of like, here is what the game looks like, and look at all this destructibility that we're going to have in the game. And you know, you'll be able to blow up entire buildings. I think if you remember look at that first trailer, like it kind of ended with a fucking building crumbling and just falling over. Sort of like taking Call of Duty Destruction, but being like, all right, you can knock, like Levolution is that thing that happens everywhere, and we're using the power of the internet to do that.
You mean Battlefield?
Yeah. Well, Crackdown was going to be doing that, like using the internet, like all these cloud computers.
You said Call of Duty Destruction. I'm just clarifying for our dear listeners.
Well, didn't Call of Duty have some stupid gimmick like that as well?
It was terrible. It was nothing on the same fucking.
Was it Levolution?
No, Levolution was the Battlefield one, but Call of Duty had its own Levolution. It was shit.
Yeah. So this is back when Xbox One was going to be always online.
Yeah.
And they ended up having to reverse that because they got a lot of flack about it.
Everyone has the internet, don't they?
Yeah, everyone. You've all got internets, right?
You've all got phones, right?
Yeah, and then so I remember seeing this demo in a back room somewhere where they were showing us like the destruction in the game and sort of how it affect the world and whatnot. And anyway, so it's been pretty much delayed up until that 2014 announcement, and it's finally out this week. It's pretty below average. I don't like a lot about this game. Generally, when I review games, I'll have my notepad and I'll write down notes about things that I like, or like moments that I have that are sort of standout moments, you know, that sort of thing. Like you look at my Red Dead notes, and it's like fucking pages and pages long of me just writing down moments in that game, and just things like that. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't write anything down for Crackdown like at all in my notepad because I don't think it does really much good at all. The art style. I'll talk about the sort of gameplay. So people don't know, it's a third-person action game where you play as an agent, part of a place called the Agency, and there's some sort of you're going after some sort of like, I don't know, like some bad corporation that's taken over this island. It's sort of spreading their propaganda around and whatnot. And there's like this enforcement team that is sort of occupied this area and whatnot. You've been sent in to liberate them. And in this game in particular, you play as an agent. I chose to play as Terry Crews, who you would have seen in a lot of the advertising and whatnot. He does the voice work as well. His likeness is in there. And he ends up dying at the start of the game.
What?
And being brought back to life. And he's lost all of his powers in doing that. They've sort of like cloned him or brought him back to life. I think he might be a clone. But anyway, you get to choose like an agent, and every agent has different like bonus set. Like this agent has 15% extra strength or better shooting and whatnot. But I'm gonna play as fucking Terry Crews because who wouldn't? That's just dumb otherwise.
Yeah.
And so the game starts off and it's kind of like sets you off in this open world, and you are running around and doing very normal, like basic missions of just killing a few dudes with your weapons, and basically leveling up throughout the entire game. You're collecting these orbs, and they're split up into different categories. There's things like agility orbs. There is firearms and melee and driving, and every time you level up one of these abilities, you sort of get more powerful, and it unlocks more things for your character to do. For instance, once you level up your agility, you can jump higher, or you'll get the option to double jump, or use your sort of jetpack to glide a little bit further, and that sort of allows you to get into other places a bit more easily, or to traverse the environment a bit better. So the game sort of once you start off in that initial area, it sort of opens up a little bit, and then you can start going out and doing all these missions. And the combat in it is pretty... I don't like it at all.
What?
The combat's taken the same style as the other games, where you're doing this like scanning onto targets. So you press your trigger button, and it basically locks onto them. And in order to shoot, you just press the other trigger. In my case, I was playing on PC, so my lock-on was right mouse button, shooting was left mouse button. And so you just basically lock onto a target, and it auto-aims at them directly, and then you start shooting, and they die within a couple of seconds, depending on what type of gun you've got. And the game sort of just keeps throwing these enemies at you. And you don't even get to the point where within an hour in, I'm like not even having to aim at anybody or like try to shoot, because you just basically press both the buttons down at the same time, and you lock on from one target to another. And as soon as one thing's dead, you're on to the next target straight away, and you're just shooting everything. Like, it's aimlessly, there's no skill at all involved in any of this stuff, which is, it's just not fun. Like, the combat in it is just like...
No challenge.
There's no challenge, there's no, like, reason to do any of it, other than you're getting, you're unlocking all these extra abilities and whatnot, but it's just too easy to get around this world. And so I think the only sort of challenging part of the game is that it does really well is that every time you get these agility orbs and level up, there are sort of like these towers around the place, or even just parts of the environment where you'll be able to see an agility orb, and you need to try and get to it. So you've got to traverse or platform the environment to try and get to those spots. So it really encourages exploration. And with the first hour and a half of the game, 2 hours that I was playing, I was like going around collecting agility orbs, like, oh, there's a bunch over there, and it sort of gets you to go into new places and explore it, and because really you want to try and level up, that's the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
But then, like, none of that really, you get to a point where it's like, I just can't be fucked, because there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agility orbs all over the place, that it's just like, it just feels like tedious at the end.
Right.
And there's just like no challenge at all. The only good thing it does is it throws these towers at you, and the tower is like, you need level 3 agility to probably complete this one. You should think about that. And there's like a platforming element to that. Like, there's a bit of puzzle solving. You need to climb this tower, and get to the very top, and then you'll get more orbs once you get there. And that was sort of one of my criticisms with Just Cause, was that they give you all these tools to use, but they don't like make you use it in any meaningful way. It's just like things you can use in the sandbox. And so like you'd end up with these 3 gadgets, but you'd just use one of them the entire game because it was working fine, and you didn't really need to do anything else, any other like reason to do it any other way.
Yeah.
And so in this game, at least, they're giving you some incentive or some reason to go and do this stuff because you're using them in some sort of meaningful way. But I think that's the only good aspect of the game, is that it gets you to do some of this stuff. It gives you these abilities, and it makes you try and do something with it.
That was always the best part of the first one, right? Like,
right.
The way it naturally incentivized you to sort of go to places that you wouldn't normally, or try something that you wouldn't normally do. Yeah. Step outside of your general play style to, expand your efforts in a different way.
But other than those towers, that is all the game really has. Like in terms of, there's not a lot of. It does that thing where it's like, here's a bunch of here's a new mechanic. And then, there's like 20 of these throughout the world. And then, like, all right, you got to go unlock all these bits. And then it's just like, here's the tower, and there's 20 of those around the world. Or like, here's a driving stunt, and you've got to get a car and drive through this circle. Or there's a race, and you've got to jump around the top of buildings and finish it in a certain amount of time. And then you get orbs. Like, there's 20 of those as well. It's like, it's the open worldness of like, it introduces you to a new mechanic, and then there's like 10 more of those you've got to go and do, and there's just not much variety at all in there. At all. And so you're going through sort of these districts and clearing out these side quests to level up your character, but also there's like this really, they're trying to sort of replicate like a Shadows of Mordor, like Nemesis system, where there's these bad guys set up in this entire region, but like it's the same layout of like, there's 2 guys here, and there's 2 people here, and there's 2 here, and up the top there's a big boss, and you're like eliminating them, and you're getting like information out of them. So each time you clear one of these objectives, it sort of marks it off the checklist, and then once you do all of them, it's like, you've got all the information you need now. You can go try and take on this person. And if you do that properly and then get this person, then it'll make this fight up here easier. It's trying to do that sort of thing, but it's just like not interesting at all. And once you do finally do that part of it, it just doesn't feel important. Like, it's like a whatever moment. It's just like, I could have done it without it anyway. It doesn't really feel like it was easier.
Yeah.
So there's like that, just no weight to it all.
Did you try doing one without doing any of the preamble shit?
No, mainly because there's just, again, not a lot of content in the game.
Yeah, so it's something
10
to
hours to finish.
Yeah.
I finished it in 2 sittings. I got up and started playing it around lunchtime. Went and got
Does that
dinner.
mean you got up at around lunchtime, you dog?
No, I got up. I think I watched some basketball. And then, because we were out on the Friday night, and the code came through on Friday.
Yes.
Friday night,
That's
after
true.
hours. And then so I got up, and then, I started playing at lunchtime. I stopped playing for dinner, jumped back in, and then finished it a couple hours later. So pretty much that entire, like that day, I'd done it in about 10 hours.
Yeah.
And that's doing killed all those bosses that you needed to go through.
Yeah.
I think I did all of the side missions, except for like the driving. I can be fucked doing. There was a couple of races there that I didn't finish, and some stunt courses. But that's literally just getting a car and driving through like a ramp, jumping on a ramp, and going through a circle or a hoop. But otherwise, I didn't get a chance to be like, I'm going to skip this boss and see sort of how it affects this part of the because there just wasn't enough content for me to be like, I could skip this bit.
Yeah.
It would have been a fucking 8-hour game then.
Right.
If I would have done that, maybe I can go back and check it out. But
yeah,
it's just like the shooting is terrible.
There's
just no fun to it at all. You're literally just running around and pressing right-clicking and shooting on stuff, I found this gun really early on, it's like a plasma beam. It just burns people. So it gets to a point where once you've done enough damage on them, they start burning. So I don't even need to kill all these people. I get to like 3/4 of the way through, they start burning, and then I focus on the next target and start shooting them because they're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
There are a lot of weapons in the game. There's probably about 30 or 40 different types of guns.
Right.
But I literally stuck with the same build the entire game because it was working for me. The machine guns, the assault rifles are terrible. The range on them is just shit. Like, you can't, for whatever reason, it's like a couple of meters, and then once it gets past that, you can't hit anything. Like, it's like the bullets just disappear. And so I would get to points where they send drones at you at some stages, and they'll be flying up in the air trying to shoot you, and you literally can't shoot the drones out of the air unless you've got a rocket launcher or something, or they come close to you, because for whatever reason the bullets just don't hit. And there's stats on all the guns being like, this is how much range it's got, this is how much damage it does, this is the fire rate of the gun, how much ammo it takes and whatnot. And so I was running around with the assault rifle that had the longest range and still couldn't shoot any of these drones. They were super fucking close, and it's like, I'm just not hitting them. There's no damage, and you switch to something like a homing rocket launcher, and just use that because you're like, fuck it, I just can't be bothered. And the thing about it is that I talk about this targeting people, and it literally feels like an aimbot, because you can target people through walls, like enemies through walls. You can target them, run behind a wall, and wherever they move, it's still targeting them. And I think what they're trying to do is, when you scan somebody, it shows you like the weak point,
right?
Like a torso, but it's super tiny. It's the fucking tiniest little indicator.
Yeah.
And it'll be like the body is orange, and like you should shoot for the body, but because everybody dies so quickly, there's no point in doing that.
Yeah.
And then, and like it literally feels like an aimbot, but it feels like every enemy also has an aimbot. Like, they don't miss at all. You can be behind a wall, and they can't know whereabouts you're standing behind the wall, but they'll be lobbing fucking rockets, and it'll just hit you no matter what. So you're constantly under fire all the time. They throw enemies at you that have that shoot rockets up into the air, and they just kind of fall down on top of you. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can roll, but you take so much damage in the game that it really doesn't. You don't need to roll out of the way. It's got this push forward style of combat, so that once you do kill somebody, they drop repairs your shield.
Right.
And so you're constantly just running around healing anyway, and because it doesn't take any time at all to kill anything, you're just not taking any damage. I think it died, I don't know, twice maybe up until the last boss fight.
Right.
Where the last boss I died maybe 5 or 6 times.
Why is that?
That whole thing of like everybody felt like it had an aimbot on me, and it just throws like cannon fodder at you, and I'm trying to shoot the boss, but everything else is fucking trying to hit me, and no matter where I stood, I just kept getting smashed all the time.
Right.
So I got through that, but otherwise, like, the entire game just super easy. You just don't feel like you're ever gonna die, because if you don't. Like, if you keep fighting, you're eventually going to outlast people. They'll throw, like, giant mechs at you. But they'll also throw little, like, cannon fodder guys at you. So while you're shooting these giant mech things, you just kill everything around you.
Yeah.
You just stand there and take all this damage. Eventually, you'll get some really good guns, and those mechs just don't matter to you at all. They start throwing 3, 4 of them at you. And then that stuff becomes trivial. Like, there's just no challenge in the game at all, and because the actual aiming system is so easy, you don't have to aim at anything. You just literally press the scan button and just start shooting, and you can just keep pressing it, targeting different enemies.
If they fix the aiming thing, would it be better? Would it be fixed? Would the game be
better?
Would the game be not fast?
I think it'd be better.
Yeah, well, it couldn't be worse. No, would it be good? No, it wouldn't be good.
It still wouldn't be good. No. Because the rest of the stuff is bad.
Yeah.
Like, I just think the aiming, it's like we're fucking, it's like baby mode.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure that you can turn it off, that mode, that trigger thing. There is a thing in the options,
Right.
like an aim sensitivity thing.
Right.
But it's kind of like when you play a shooter or an action shooter, like, I don't know, man, Uncharted, and when you press your trigger on somebody, it locks onto them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stay locked onto them. It'll, like, you've still got them moving around, and you
aim
can
assist,
still move.
not aim.
Yeah, you can still move your look around, and you've got to sort of try and shoot them.
Yeah.
This literally just locks onto them the entire time. Doesn't matter where they go, if they're behind a wall and whatnot. Your crosshair is on them all the time, and so you're constantly hitting them. So once you get one of these laser beams or whatever, you just use that and just melt them straight away. Whereas I think if they got rid of that system, like, maybe don't make it the fucking default or something. Have that be an accessibility option.
Yeah.
For people that maybe don't want to play that way.
Yeah.
But all the games have had it. At least the second one. I remember the second one having it. I looked into some gameplay. It was definitely in there.
Right.
Yeah. It shouldn't be on by default. It'd probably make the shooting a bit better, or at least challenging. But otherwise, like, the rest of the stuff in the game is just, there's not a lot to do. Like I said, I finished it in 10 hours.
Yeah.
There's not much there.
Hmm.
And I think they want you to go back and be like, hey, there are like 8 agents, like I talked about, with different stats that you can find throughout the game, and you, like, unlock them. Like, it kind of wants you to go back and play it again, but it's just like, there's no reason to.
Yeah. Shit. How was the multiplayer?
I haven't played it yet because it's not out. But from what I've seen in gameplay footage, that aiming system is still in the multiplayer.
That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, so because I looked up some footage and it was still there. But that's where the destructibility's gone. So the world or the environments will be destroyable in multiplayer.
Right.
There are bits and pieces in single player that are destroyable, like concrete walls and whatnot, like little barricades.
But who cares?
That's about it. Otherwise, the full-fledged, like, destructibility seems to be in the multiplayer. But I haven't had a chance to play it because nobody's got code yet, and they're running. I mean, they're telling us that they said. Oh, I don't know. I probably can't say it, so I won't say it. Anyway, I haven't played it yet. I haven't played the multiplayer yet. But I'm not hanging out for it because I don't think the shooting's very good. Yeah. Anyway, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd recommend it. Even if you're a fan of those last games, it's just like, because I didn't play the first one. I played the second one. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was pretty, like, whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty blah.
Yeah. This is just like, I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel good at all. I just don't see any reason to play it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, shit. Okay.
Crackdown 3.
Crackdown 3. I want my money back down 3.
With them not tying it to a pre-order, I don't see how this one sells.
Right. Yeah.
Enough for another game, especially considering they have lost a fuck ton of money on this game, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, they had to have. How many times has it been delayed? Fucking 16. Yeah, okay, cool.
It got announced 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Well then.
That's it. Crackdown. Well, that's the games we've been playing. We should do some news.
Let's do some news.
Not a long episode. I thought it was going to be short.
I thought it was going to be short too, but you wouldn't shut the fuck up. Rainbow Six Siege, Burnt Horizon.
Yes.
Coming out March 1st. And we're going to Australia.
Yes.
Australia.
You dickheads.
Australia, cunts. Yeah. It's about fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's about it. Right. We don't know heaps yet. We've seen the level. It's a outback gas station / motel / diner. You know how many diners we have in Australia? They're very popular.
Yeah,
yes. It is our favourite way to eat food. at a diner and a
You know
gas
what?
and a gas
When
station.
when they announced this,
Mm.
because it's been rumored, I was like, there is no way that it's gonna be in the fucking desert. I was like, that's too like
Two on the nose.
stereotypical.
Yeah.
Like, what's
To
Australia?
Yep.
Let's do that. And
Yep.
it's like fucking full on, like exactly that.
It's literally called Outback.
It's literally called Outback. I was like, nah, they'll go low key with it. It'll be like a map that was originally not supposed to be that, and I'll just say, yeah, it's fucking Australia. It's the Opera House or something. I don't know. But this literally, it looks like they've gone for full on with the whole Australia thing.
Yeah. Well, full on for the whole like. All right, look. The only amazing part is I only just noticed this because I've just brought up the fucking trailer, but the place itself is called Hanley's Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And the Aussie guy he played in the original Rainbow Six, his name was Timothy Hanley.
Right.
So I'm guessing maybe there's a link back there, which is pretty legendary. But yeah,
There's
yeah,
a giant like steel kangaroo.
yeah, it's a big like fucking I guess kitsch art kangaroo, almost a yeah. What do they call it? The big kangaroo they could call it, and it could sit alongside the big banana and the big pineapple and the big fish.
Big
But yeah, like so much of this, the general art theme, except for the corrugated iron rooftops, doesn't strike me as particularly Australian. Like, I don't get a really Australian feel from it. The trucks don't make me like Australian. Look, I'm not going to pretend I'm the fucking king of the roads, but I spent quite a lot of time traveling in the back areas, the outback areas of Australia. I spent quite a lot of time traveling those roads and being surrounded by trucks, and you do not encounter tons of the flat-faced semi-trailer. The more the like in Australia, you just don't that fucking Optimus Prime style. Like you don't see that shit tons. You see a lot of the more traditional truck style with the engine block out front and the cabin behind it. I'm not saying they don't exist, and I've definitely seen a number of them, but to me, there is a certain iconic style of semi-trailer truck in Australia, and it is not the Optimus Prime style flat faced truck. So that's bugging the fuck out of me from the get-go. Payphones that don't have Telstra all over them is pretty weird.
Payphones is just weird.
It is pretty weird.
There's a red exit sign. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was annoying as fuck. Like,
I'm gonna bring up all these things.
yeah. Have you cunts ever been to Australia? Have you met an Australian, motherfuckers? Because first of all, you know you're all a bunch of cunts.
But there's like a lot of signage up there, and
like I do like, it's really weird, right? Like some of it does feel very familiar.
yeah,
I think maybe it's general sensitivity to the parts that really fucking don't. You know, like the parts that feel really wrong that are bugging the fuck out of me. But yeah, like, I don't know, there's just, yeah, it just seems a bit odd. It seems like they, wrote about Australian books, that old chestnut. And that's they're like, I know what Australia is. I've seen Mad Max. Don't worry about me. I can make an Australian map. Two rights, Sheila. And that's it. Like they go from there. I don't know. Have you been to a fucking pub in Australia that has a fucking
bull?
Bull?
No.
Because I sure haven't. I think no, there's one up in Queensland I have been to, but fucking not many.
A riding bull, yeah.
Yeah, that's just not common. There's a ute in here. Maybe that's the chick's ute, right? But it looks more like a pickup truck. It's got the full cabin and the full covered back. Looks very much like a foil drive as opposed to a ute. You'd think you'd see a fucking ute up in this shit.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a bit disappointed. And then kangaroo on a road sign. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Because technically it's Australia then, unless you bred a bunch of kangaroos and let them loose anywhere else in the world. Yeah, because that's about as Australian as this would be to me. I don't know. Just doesn't feel very Australian. At least they said it was a petrol station in their official reveal, as opposed to a gas station. That would have been, a fucking bummer. But it does.
The highest post on Reddit was like, it better be called Servo or something like that.
They should change the name to Servo, 100%. Don't call it Outback, call it Servo. I would take back all the nasty things I've said if they did that in an instant. Yeah.
I'll ask them.
No, do it.
Yeah. And so 2 Australian operators, Mozzie and Gridlock, are the 2 that we know about.
Yep.
There was a leak I saw a couple of days back, and one of the traps, it looks like a trapper. It's like in a spider web shape, so I don't know how it's going to play out, or if that was even real. But yeah, that's pretty Australian themed. They were like, spiders. Okay, let's do that. Spider web. But otherwise, we'll know more next week. So this weekend they're going to do a full reveal.
Yep. I'm going to go check it out, and you're going to fly for 30 hours and see the same thing. So that'll be fun for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's about it. So yeah, the Invitational kicked off last night. Did you happen to watch the games yet?
No, I haven't managed to watch the games yet.
Right. Well, then we won't talk about it.
I've seen the results.
Oh, okay. Well, we can talk about it.
Let's do it. Mind Freak, Fnatic, played against Cloud9. I mean, Team Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Yes. And yeah, that was a fucking close match, huh? It looked like
that was
a close one.
A good game. I got up. I started watching it at 2:00. The games kicked off. Finished about 5:30 this morning. Maybe just after 5:30. So it went for a couple of hours. By the time that game finished, so they're in group stages. The FaZe was playing NiP, Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yep.
By the time by the time that game finished, FaZe had already finished their match, and they'd started the next round from the other group, and they were nearly done. So yeah, that first game with Fnatic went on for ages, man. Like,
Jeez.
It went right to the wire. I think the commentator was saying, like, out of a possible 40, a maximum of 40 rounds, they went for about 38 or 39 of those. So it went into overtime at one stage. But yeah, so first game was really not looking good for Fnatic. They were struggling quite a bit on the first map, which was actually it wasn't their pick. So they picked they ended up picking
Clubhouse.
It was Consulate. So for Reciprocity, what was it? Reciprocity picked Clubhouse. Consulate, and Clubhouse is picked by Fnatic. So the first map was not going well at all. It was like a bit of a stomping, and then things started to turn around a bit, and they started getting some kills.
Yep.
And they brought it right back. Like, really close match. It ended up being 6-8 at the end of that one. I think at one stage it was like 6-1, and Fnatic took like 4 straight games or something. It was really good. And the thing is that this team they were playing is like one of the best teams in NA at the moment. They've lost, I think, 1 game recently in their regional finals, so they're ranked like 2nd or 3rd in their group. Sorry, in NA. So alongside teams like Evil Geniuses, there's a very good team, and I was pretty worried for them when I started seeing these results because it was not looking good. But then, yeah, man, like they came back. Fnatic started putting things together. They started getting some really good kills. They didn't end up winning that match, that particular map, but they definitely started to pick things up again.
Got a bit of momentum.
Yeah, and then and that was the one that went into overtime.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
Yes, it went into
8-6. Yep.
Yeah. So that was really good. They came right back into that one. It was awesome. And then Clubhouse was Fnatic's pick. They were picking, according to the commentators, some really weird compositions. They ended up banning some heroes, operators that shouldn't have been banned, or they thought that they really weren't sure what they were doing with it. But
the bans were Capital and Bandits.
Yep. Yeah, and then so like they came out and just started steamrolling. I think they won like 4 or 5 games like straight up, and they were just on point. But then they switched sides. The other team started coming back a little bit, but they had some really good kills. I think at one stage there was like a 5 versus 1, and Fnatic ended up winning the 5 versus 1.
And what?
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that was that map. And then so we went to the deciding match, so best of 3, which was Villa coin toss. I don't think you see Villa much at all, and it sounded like that the commentators were thinking that this was a map that Fnatic intentionally was banning the entire APAC season just so they could bring it out at the Invitational with some strats.
Yeah, right.
And they were doing really fucking well. Like, they were... Reciprocity just had no answer for what they were doing. Like, Fnatic was bringing out this Cav, and they just couldn't find her. Like, so Cav's special ability is she interrogates people and then reveals her... reveals everybody, the other players to everyone on their team. So it's like shows everyone on the map where they are for about 5 or 6 seconds. Like, you can see through walls and whatnot. So the moment that you do that, all of a sudden you can shoot through walls, you can shoot through floorboards, and like people just panic, like they're looking for cover straight away because it's a big deal. And so like the other team was just wasting so much time trying to find out where Cav was hiding, and they'd get down to like a minute left and couldn't find her, and then they were just panicking. They were just running out of time, and then they'd get a Cav pickup and an interrogation. It's just working so well for them. And that one, again, it came down to it was like 6-1, which was, or 5-1, and then they started, like, Reciprocity started coming back, and it was looking really hairy there. They won about 4 games straight. They started to really bring it back to Fnatic. And then, just one really good game on by them just secured them the win. So they ended up winning 2-1 overall on that matchup against Reciprocity. So they got like really good start. I mean, coming out and beating one of the best teams in NA, a top 3 team in NA at the moment. Not convincingly, but putting up probably what'll be the best group stage match. I don't see how some of these other teams could outdo that unless there's some really, really good games. But for that to be the first sort of game off the bat, awesome gameplay to see. Because it sounded like the FaZe versus Nip game was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, 7-3, 7-0.
Yeah.
G2 versus Mantis was pretty close, 8-6, 7-4. That's pretty good. Good one, Mantis, for taking G2 all the way. Mocket's the only other game that's gone 2-1 so far. And that was 7-2, 4-7, and 8-6, Mocket versus Liquid. Mocket came out on top. What else we got? Norarengo beat Penta.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. 4-7, 7-2, 7-3 to Norengo. So Apex doing pretty well so far.
Yep. I think they're doing well. There's definitely some room. Like, if they're playing this way against teams like G2, they're not going to win.
Right.
They got a lot of work to do. That like instances where they just look like they didn't know how to counter certain things.
Yeah.
Or like, shit, all right, we just throw a bunch of bodies at the other team because there's 20 seconds left and we can't get into this site.
Yeah.
I mean, it paid off a couple of times, but it just seemed like they just didn't have any answer for some of those. Like, they didn't really know when to go in, and so there was a bunch of times where they just lost because they ran out of time, and they were just like looking for just kills. I mean, they definitely won a couple of those, but other times it was just like their time could have been done, like spent a bit better.
Yeah.
So I think if they start doing that against teams like G2 or EG, they're not. I don't think they're going to do very well. But we'll see.
Reciprocity is old Cloud9. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think Reciprocity is a really fucking good team.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I just think they'll. If they start getting a bit better at that end game stuff, like the last 30 seconds to a minute, if they can really tidy that up, then they'll be fucking.
Might just be like it was their first game, bit of jitters. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so that moves them to the winners bracket now, where they'll play against FaZe tonight.
Yeah.
If they win that, then they move on to the main stage.
Yep.
If they lose, then they'll play the winner of the two losers. So either
Reciprocity and Ninja's Pajamas, yeah.
So it could be a replay of. If they end up in that lose bracket, it could be another replay.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah, fingers crossed that they make it through. That'd be awesome to see them on the main stage again this year.
Yeah, hell yeah. That'd be epic.
Yeah. Because there's some. I thought we had a good chance of. I thought it was a good group. But FaZe is a really good good team. And sounds like Reciprocity is also very good.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know. I reckon they're in good shape. I think FaZe will challenge them. But I think they can make the playoffs. I think they can. I don't know. Norengo look like they've got it a bit easier. They have to beat EG, but I reckon they can at least win the rest of the group. Mantis is in a tough spot.
Yep.
They'll have to beat Liquid and then probably mock it.
And they've got G2.
But they don't have to beat G2.
Yeah, that's a bit of a death on that one. I think that our group is pretty good. Apart from the fact...
Dude, I reckon ours is rough. I reckon Group A is rough. FaZe and Cloud9. I mean, yeah, that's
I'm saying I thought it was good until I realised that they were... The NA team that was in there was actually very good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, because they changed names. It would have been a bit of a curveball. All right. Good luck. And I'm keen to see how the operators play. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Next up, we've got 25 million Apex players and 2 million concurrents in 1 week. We spoke about this already a little bit in the sense that we would like to see them talk about other stuff. I don't give a fuck about them crying. It is good numbers, 100%. Fortnite's at something like 8 million concurrents. But it took them fucking a month to get to 2 million. So, yeah, these are some spectacular numbers and a huge congratulations. But you got to hold on to those numbers. It's not enough to fucking hit peaks. You got to fucking stay there.
Yeah, I mean, PUBG's down below 1 million these days.
Yeah, their all-time peak something like 3 mil or something, right? All right. Next up, Sean Layden on why Sony is skipping E3. You put this in here. Go.
I did. All right, what do we got? So it looks like that Sean Layden is the head of Sony in the US. He spoke to CNET about kind of why they aren't going to E3 this year. We got some quotes here. They talk about how they're doing an event in February called Destination PlayStation, where they're bringing all the retailers and third-party partners to come and hear the story for the year. They're making purchasing discussions in February, and then it says here June. Now it's just too late to have a Christmas holiday discussion with retailers. So they're looking at so for people who don't know, like E3 is generally an industry, or it has been in the past, an industry expo where they get journalists in, retailers, like buyers, and like the idea was to show off these games and for buyers to come in and be like, all right, how many copies of this do we want to purchase, and sort of make their decisions based off of that. And then the journalist stuff sort of tacked on the side. Same sort of thing with how in Australia, EB Expo, that was pretty much like a buyer's expo, and then they turned it into having the public come around and check it out.
Yeah.
It's just like them working for another 2 days and making the booths a bit prettier and whatnot. So this is Sony saying that like the market is changing now. They're saying that retail has really dropped off, and journalists now with the internet and the fact that 24/7 there is gaming news, it's lost a lot of the impact around that. So they're sort of looking at their roadmap for the games that they've got, and they don't think they need to kind of compete with all the other games that are at E3, and they can just kind of do it at their own pace. And that they don't need, I guess, media there to cover them anymore. They can kind of do it in their own way, similar to what Nintendo's doing at the moment, where they hold their Nintendo Directs and push out the message themselves. It seems like that Sony is sort of going down that same sort of style.
Yeah, still feels like a bit of a wing wang to me. I still think they're a bit wary of Xbox and what Xbox is going to bring to E3. I still feel like this is a bit of a dodge, to be honest. I don't dispute what he's saying. I think he's thought up some perfectly valid excuses, but I don't think they scan for me, for my money. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I still think media are definitely still important.
Yeah, of course.
It's one of those things where a lot of the games that you do end up seeing aren't finished. They're not polished. Like, you go into those types of things with an open mind. Like, if you show something like that to the general public, generally they are just like, this game looks broken.
Yeah. What
are they doing? Type thing. So like the expectations can be a little bit differently, and having seen, hundreds of games across all these years showing off in different sort of states, you kind of get an idea of what is going to probably end up being good and what just looks like garbage.
Yeah.
What probably can't be fixed, and that's kind of harder for them to do in like having every single game be polished up until a point and making it look good. So they're probably just getting out of that way completely and being like, we'll do it at our own pace. We'll reveal games we want to.
No.
Yeah, without them having to E3. Because I think that was the problem, right? Is that they go to E3 and it being a big expo now, they'd have to have all these games ready for people to play. And they maybe just don't want the time to do it. Even the ones that we checked out last year, a lot of them weren't playable.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was playable.
Right.
The rest of them were behind closed doors. The big AAA ones weren't playable. Days Gone was playable, but that was a little bit rough. And then they had like all the indie stuff, which was playable as well. But like, people going to these things, maybe expecting the big AAA stuff, are usually only get like 1 or 2 games there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they can abandon E3. I think the hype machine out of it is still too large.
Sure. Yeah.
Too grand a thing for them to just give up on it entirely. Finally, we got Activision Blizzard to lay off staff, possibly hundreds of staff, I believe, which is kind of rough.
Yeah. So this was a report out of who was it?
Don't know.
Bloomberg last week. The rumor is, I think it'll be, sounds like tomorrow,
Right.
that Activision Blizzard will be restructuring, and yeah, up to, they're saying hundreds of people could be laid off. Profits in Overwatch and Hearthstone have declined. We talked about how Bungie has broken off from Activision Blizzard as well. They're not doing Destiny anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
And they don't really have like a lot coming out anymore. They've got Call of Duty, and then whatever Blizzard does.
And Zynga.
These days. All right. Did they buy them?
Yeah, they still own Zynga.
Right. What do they do?
Make most of their money, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't want anyone to lose their jobs. And I don't think the biggest company in the world, biggest games company in the world, should be at risk. And if they are, I think that is probably a management fault, not anyone else's fault. Certainly not the people who are about to get fucking fired's fault. So I think it's kind of dog shit that they're about to wear this. Yeah, so that sucks.
Yep. All right, and that's news.
That's news. All right. He's hoping it doesn't come to pass, but it's probably gonna. If it's in Bloomberg, it's probably happening. All right. Fuck. Oh.
Do you have any questions?
I hit the wrong button. Fuck. We've got some questions. First up, Zio. She didn't write this in the questions, but she did mention that she was listening to the podcast, and she was saying that she reckons the combat mechanics that I was talking about, the special stuff, the priming and detonating system, sounded a lot like Mass Effect 3's co-op, which I didn't really get into all that much. I played it a bit enough so that I could get stuff for Mass Effect 3's campaign, but I didn't really play the co-op all that much. But at the same time, the entire concept of Anthem always struck me as some sort of excuse to blow that whole thing, which was apparently wildly successful, like way past the lifespan of Mass Effect 3. People were still playing co-op regularly. Yeah, it always struck me as an excuse to blow that out into its own game. So I'm not surprised that it is very similar. But it is
I
good.
remember that now.
I never really played it to the extent where I got into priming and detonating stuff, but it is super interesting to hear that that's the way it works. It's interesting because that's not how I ever played Mass Effect single player, so they never really. I'm surprised that it's a part of the co-op experience, I guess.
Well, no, I think it's also part of the single player stuff of like having your team members and being like these people do these specific abilities, and then you chain them together.
No, what I mean is that, like, in single player, I never played with biotics all that much.
Right, yeah.
I never fucking needed to. I just fucking punt everything.
So yeah, I do remember that in there. And now that like rings a bell, it's like, wow, it seems like even remember I had jetpacks? Like
yeah.
you could fly in man, Mass Andromeda
jump.
Was so Andromeda was had like jetpacks in there, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't like full blown flying in the way.
No, it wasn't flying. It was just jetpacks.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't play Andromeda that much though. Anyway, just wanted to. That was a good point. That a little bit of insight that I guess we never covered. So I thought it was good to bring up. Anyway, Baz writes, I have to agree with Luke on this. Oh my fucking god! Fuck off, Baz. Alright, I have to agree with Luke on this one. In regards to the last episode, Luke did say Metro was just average, nothing special. Fucking whatever. Question though, how does Joab manage to...
Where is the second look at this?
How does Joab manage to continue to communicate so well with Anthem's dick so far down his throat? I hope it is successful as well, but I fear it'll be dead in a couple of months. But could be DOA, as Joab said. Anyway, keep up the good work. Love the show. Yeah, it is.
You're getting a lot of shit while we were playing The Division this week as
I
well.
was copying a lot of shit. Anthem-related shit while we were playing The Division.
You're like, oh, we were playing Anthem. None of this would have happened.
I was trying to point that out quite a bit. But, yeah, no, it's actually really easy to talk with Anthem stick down my throat. It's the balls that you have to worry about. So that's what'll really choke you up.
The end-game content.
That's good. Yeah, I hope it's successful. I mean, it's nearly out, eh? It's like a fucking week away or some shit.
Anthem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might. Fuck. Someone get a chart. It might be playable already. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's consult the graphs. It'll be playable. Yeah, it should be playable by the time this comes out. Right? I don't know.
I think it's this week, isn't it?
The early access stuff, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I think it's out this week, early access, and then next year normally.
Right. Rasty writes, on a scale of 1 to Titanfall 2, how much do you think Apex Legends has screwed over Anthem? Whoa. I assume the 1 in that scenario is Battlefield 1. Yeah, Apex Legends has to be a... If I was BioWare, I would be... It's either the greatest gift ever, because you can always just say, yeah, Anthem fucking crashed and burned because you guys let Respawn release their giant battle royale the same fucking week as us. Or they don't get the benefit of that doubt, and now they wear what will inevitably be the loss of players to Apex as a result of Respawn's actions, and they will get in on the shit as a result.
Right.
I don't know. It's gonna go one or the other way. I can't pick which one. I reckon it would be bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't think they're the same style of game, but if people are playing that when it comes out and they're not enjoying it, and they're like, I'm going to go back to Apex Legends, then you end up with like I want a refund or something like that. Whereas if Apex wasn't out, or even, isn't there something else coming out like Metro, Crackdown? You're fine with that one.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Apparently Metro is nothing special as well.
Why? But yeah, like if people are playing that,
see how it is,
and saying that, oh, I'm just gonna go back to Apex, like it's a free game. I think it's better than this, so they can probably get a refund. It might hurt them, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But they're not the same type of game at all. Any stretch.
No, definitely not. But like that, Fortnite isn't the same type of game as anything, but it definitely had an impact on literally every game that came out for the last fucking year or so. So, yeah, it's got to have it's got to do something. Krusty Raven posted a great image that I really liked. It was the Simpsons where Bart's gonna smash Homer over the head with a chair, and it's got like dice on Bart and Titanfall 2 on Homer, and then it switches around and Homer's going to smash Bart, and it's got Respawn, and I think he had Battlefield 5's Battle Royale, but it should be an Anthem. It's definitely it's definitely the revenge of Respawn. They've respawned into the game, and they're coming back. They're going to get the squad like Jobo, big old, taking all the credit for all of Luke's hard work on that win.
Yeah.
All right. Good questions, boys.
Was that it?
That's it. Zio's wasn't a question. She didn't put it in the questions thing.
All right.
So she doesn't get a good questions. It's just a good point.
Harsh.
Look, I don't make the fucking rules, okay? I do, obviously. I like how your cat literally sits there just in view of the camera every single time. I feel like it's watching itself.
She's sleeping. You just woke her
It's
up.
not. It's not sleeping. Anyway, let's wrap this up.
All right, The Gap. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, everywhere. We're everywhere. Spotify, all of those places. If you search for The Gap, the GA podcast, it'll definitely come up. If you review or rate us, it helps other people find the show. So please, if you got 10 seconds, please do that. Much appreciated. You can send us questions if you want through email, thegapodcast@gmail.com. You can jump onto our Discord page if you want to do it that way, thegapodcast.com/Discord. We've got a bunch of channels up there, voice channels where we're playing games. I think this week will be probably more Apex.
Maybe some Anthem.
Some Anthem.
You're flying out, so you can go fuck off.
Catching up at all on that one.
There's no need to. It's not like The Division. It's they've made it like sensible people. It's not fucking garbage.
Yep. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/GAPodcast, twitter.com/GAPodcast, and our website, thegapodcast.com, has all the links we just talked about just now, including past episodes of the show. That's all thanks to our Patreon members. If you want to help support the show, go to patreon.com/GAPodcast. Help us pay the bills.
You're the best. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if you want to watch this show right here on YouTube, you can do it that way as well. thegapodcast.com/YouTube. That'll take you there. Or if you just search it, it'll come up. I'll put some Crackdown footage up for this week of me just if I get some time.
Yeah.
I should get some time. I'll put like 10 minutes in or something.
Right. Do you want me to send you that video of that game we had with the Bambino? I've got like 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, I can put that in.
I can. It should be pretty fucking easy to send. It's only 1.7 gig.
Yeah. I need to. I got to change my shadow play to just record because I've got it split up into tracks at the moment.
Right.
Just like sometimes it doesn't work properly. And
Yeah.
it'll just crash in whatever movie thing I put in, or I can't convert it because the file is fucked. Man, shadow play is just the worst. I don't know what I did.
It's the worst, but it's so easy. It's like so easy.
It is. They just need to fix it. Just
Yeah.
fix it.
Just make it work.
It used to work all the time.
Right. Fuck, damn it. Anyway. Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, you got anything you want to pimp out this week? Any work?
Yeah, go have a look at my how Apex Legends lowered skill floor raises the bar for all battle royales on redbull.com. And we got some Smash Bros stuff up there. That's a good read. And that's about it. Next week, I think next Monday is the embargo. I will have some sort of writing about Rainbow Six on IGN. I'm back on IGN, baby.
Right, yeah.
Yep. That's about it. Check that shit out.
Cool.
Yep. What about you?
For me, you can go to Stevivor.com. I think I pimped this out last week. I talked to Fnatic about Rainbow Six Siege Invitational.
Yep.
Talked to Dizzle, their coach, manager, about what they were doing over there. I also wrote a preview for Division 2, so if you didn't get a chance to get into the beta, you can read that. And Crackdown 3 will be up. Yes. Because the embargo for that is yesterday.
Well, you'd hope it'd be up, seeing how we talked about it for fucking 40 minutes.
Yep.
So if the embargo hadn't lifted, you'd be in a spot up bother because you'd have to fucking edit this shit.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have to worry about shit.
Yep. Day of release, the embargo.
Nice. It instills a lot of confidence.
Yep.
Cool. Excelente.
And I think that's it. Oh, and also you can go check out, I'll be putting a bunch of coverage up for the Invitational.
Yep.
I'm flying out in less than 24 hours.
Cool.
So I'm hoping that Fnatic manages to make it to the main stage.
Yeah. Are you going to stay up and watch it or what?
Yeah, I'll stay up tonight. I stayed up. I watched it last night.
Yeah.
If I stay up tonight...
Don't you have a really early flight?
No, it's in the afternoon. But generally that's what I do anyway because I want to sleep that first leg.
Oh.
Or towards the end of it.
Oh.
That's why I'm always like 110% when I land. I'm like, let's go. Everyone's like, I didn't go to sleep.
You never sleep on the fucking way in. You stay awake during daytime and you sleep at fucking... You don't want to be 110% if you're landing at midnight, you fucking lunatic.
I'm not landing at midnight anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm landing at 11.
Oh, what a fucking... Oh, you fuck. Oh, my God.
No, but I want to sleep at the beginning.
No, you don't. You want to sleep like a baby when you get in. You want to sleep. You want to sleep 8 hours all the way through the moment you get in. You do not sleep on the plane all the way over. Right? You stay awake at all costs. Right? And then when you land, you crank the fucking aircon in the room down to 18 degrees. You load up on the blankets and you sleep the entire way through until 8 o'clock or like 8 hours later, whatever that might be. And then you wake up and you have a regular day, and then jet lag has no effect on you. And then on the way back, you sleep the entire fucking way back. And then you don't go to sleep the entire day that you get in. The problem, like the trick with LA flights is always that you land at 6 a.m. So you've always got to stay wide awake for at least fucking 20 hours, or else you're fucked. Like you're in a world of hurt. That's
I usually stay awake for a bit, and then I sleep the last leg. I'll sleep like fucking 12 hours, and I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'll get there, and everyone will be like, "Oh, didn't go to sleep." I'm like, "Yes, I'm fresh. Let's go drinking." That's the way it works. So anyway, Survivor.com. I'll be covering a bunch of Invitational over there. New operators, new maps, whatever they're doing for Season 4. I'm sure I'll talk to them about that. Yep. They generally do like a panel on, I think it's the last day, where they talk about like what's going on in the year to come. Like last year they talked about all the changes to the esports scene, changes to picks and bans. I'm sure we'll see a new map redesign coming out. Last year they did Clubhouse. Seems to work pretty well for Fnatic these days. And we'll see what sort of comes out of that one. But yeah, should be good. I'm excited to see it. New venue this year, bigger venue, $2 million prize pool, $2 million USD. That's good. So,
and I'd just like to amend what I said. It would appear I will not be on IGN right about Rainbow Six.
Fair enough.
Apparently, the event that I was going to do literally just got cancelled.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Cool. Well, it's not like I wanted.
Good thing one of us is going.
Fucking.
Maybe it's all the complaining we were doing. No, it wasn't. We were not complaining. And that's it. You can find me on twitter.com/Luke Lawrie as well. And
yeah, me, Joby Jojo. At Joby Jojo. I put up shitloads of videos lately. I've been doing it because, I don't make money from putting up videos on YouTube, so I figured I don't make money from putting them up on Twitter either. I may as well just chuck them on Twitter. Fuck it. Easy peasy.
There you go.
Yep. All right. Bye.
And that's the show. See ya.